welcome, welcome. This is Cubecast episode 6. Wait, no, series 6, season 6, episode 46? Let's go with that. Good morning, chat. How are we? How is everyone? Hello, Vera. Hello, Dave. Hello, Doggo. Hello, Sawyer. Josh is here. The whole gang's here, everyone. Kiwi Cuber is here. Hello, Carol. Justice, the Sandcuber, Ruman, Andrew, Toby, Double A. It's all happening. David's just snuck in as well. Curious Nick is here as well. We got all the ladies in the chat today. Okay, this is very apt. We got Nick, we got Vera, we got Carol as well. We've got a couple of girl dads in the chat as well. I know Chang's going to be along today. He's interested to hear what we're talking about. Welcome, everyone. Season 6, episode 46 of Cubecast. Lovely to have you here. I hope you have had a good time over the 2 weeks that I've been off. For me, it's been school holidays. I've just been absolutely buried under dad life, just running around, sorting all that stuff out. But my kids have gone back to school. I danced a little dance on Monday. That was pretty exciting stuff. Curious Nick, I watched Cube Mom's podcast and was hoping you were picking this up. Yeah, no, I watched that. That's where I saw this too. And then I learned about Sarah's videos, which I had heard about, but I couldn't watch because they didn't really exist in a watchable format. But then Sarah redid them for us, which was good. And then I went and watched those and I was like, holy hell. Who is this and what is this brain? And I need to talk to this person because we've talked about this a couple of times. But I think Sarah is significantly smarter than I am. So let's see what we can find out. Dave Neville asking, when am I learning blind? That's a very good question. I said I would do that this year. It's now July and I haven't. So there we are. Josh is moving to Christchurch? No way. Is it? You're not in uni already. Stop it, Josh. That's ridiculous. You can't be. Okay, thanks to the channel members, HK Slow Cuber, Sam Deacon, Projta, David Epstein, Walker Standard, Chang, Amethyst Mac, Jeremy Falanga, UK Cuber, Vera Twist Plastic, JDB the Cube Guy, James Melby, Glenn's Cubing Corner, Benjamin Handelman, John Baxter, Curious Nick. You're all amazing. You all keep the channel going. Coming up on the show today, obviously we're going to talk to Sarah. She's waiting patiently in the on calls in the on hold section. We're going to talk about Rubik's and their trademark battle with VCube. We're going to talk about a post on our Cubers asking about people's favorite YouTube channels, and I'm going to express how disappointed I am in all of you that I'm not mentioned. Unbelievable, everyone. There's a big PSL update. There's a big breaking news. I haven't even put it into my docket yet. Huge update about GAN SSL. Absolutely wild. I cannot believe this decision that has been made by GAN SSL. We'll talk about that later. I want to talk about Guy Zarian is the person who's been accused of cheating in Squan in the World Championships. He is being absolutely dogpiled on. Is it justified? I don't think so. Well, here's the thing. Did he cheat? I think he probably... No, I think he probably changed the rules. I can't tell if he cheated as such. But he's being absolutely toasted, and I don't think it's very chill. There's also stuff to talk about with the GAN 16. There's also stuff to talk about with the GAN 251 UI. And there's probably some other stuff that I forgot that we might yap about later. There's probably things I haven't noticed yet that we might yap about later. But anyway, all that aside is coming later. Thank you to our sponsors, Speedcube Shop, Cubing Life Academy, and G Fuel. I think we should probably bring in our guest. Hey, welcome along to the stream. Our guest today, it's Sarah Strong, everyone. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. So yeah, just like Curious Nick in the chat was saying there, Cube Mom's podcast popped up, and I saw you were a guest on it talking about the work that you'd done, and then it led me to your videos. Cube Mom's getting all the hammers at the moment. She had Ting Man on straight after you as well, didn't she? Unbelievable.
Yep.
She's really getting those big names. It's amazing. So welcome. Would you like to take the opportunity to introduce yourself to the audience here and just let us know a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Strong. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a delegate from Ontario, Canada. I've been delegating since 2018. I've been organizing since 2012 and competing since '07. So I've been cubing for around 18 years, more than half my
Wow.
life. And so I'm
Wow.
very dedicated to cubing. I have a lot of fun with the cubing community, and I just really enjoy going to competitions.
So you're a delegate. Are you on any committees as well?
Yes, I'm also on the Quality Assurance Committee.
Quality assurance. The WCAG. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
Yes.
sweet. Sorry if you said that while in your intro and I made you repeat yourself. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't.
Okay, great. Because I was adjusting the screen and then I was like, oh no, did I zone out? Oh no. Well, welcome along. Lovely to have you here. So, you have done a lot of work. You presented in 2023 Worlds, is that correct? Your
North American Championships. Yeah.
North American Championships. I beg your
Wait, no,
pardon.
sorry. No, sorry. 2023 was US Nats. 2024 was North American Champs. So I did my seminar at 2023 US Nats.
Okay, great. And yeah, like I said, the seminar is now available in a watchable format, which I recommend everyone goes and sees. Not now, obviously. After the show, you can go and watch that on Sarah's channel. It's very, very good and informative. So it forms the basis of what I want to talk to you about today. So it seems from my observations of you talking that you know a lot about language, accessibility, disparities, gender disparities and all that kind of stuff. I'm interested where your knowledge has come from, apart from obviously lived experience that you have, as a woman in speed cubing, and yeah, where has this passion and where has this knowledge come from?
The passion is definitely from lived experience because it's
Yeah,
highly relevant to me.
I can
But the
imagine.
knowledge just comes from a lot of literature. I read a lot. I read roughly 100 books a year. I read a lot of articles. Just do a lot of research on my own time, just learning things because I'm just naturally curious about a lot of things, especially things that are relevant to me. So I've learned a lot over the years about gender, the psychology of it, the biology of it, just how genders are different and how it's perceived by society. And such is something that I've just learned so much about in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And obviously you've been inspired or motivated or enraged enough to bring it to the WCA, obviously, because there's like you say, 18 years as part of the as part of speed cubing. You've kind of had a good insight into it. Now, I suppose just with the question of gender disparity, I guess. Oh, here's a question for you, actually. Can we start by talking about gender disparity and not include trans competitors and have that? Is that a separate conversation, or can we have one without the other? Is my question.
Yeah, we can talk about both separately if you'd like.
I guess so. Well, it's like one, and then we add another one in. I think probably,
Perfect. Yeah,
So
exactly. It's another layer to it. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I feel like. It's another layer. If you haven't noticed, Sarah, I'm a white guy and quite an old one. So like, I am quite conscious sometimes because I feel like I'm pretty progressive in my beliefs. All right, I'm pretty progressive. And I'm like, yeah, like I said to you, I'm married to a very, very intelligent woman who is like the breadwinner in our house, right? We've got I'm fairly progressive is what I'm trying to say, but I'm also aware that I can get stuff wrong. Just because I feel like I'm progressive doesn't mean I'm perfect. So that's where that's coming from, my own paranoia. Now, what I was going to ask was broad view of your time in 18 years in speed cubing. How do you think we're going? Like, generally speaking, are we doing better now than we were 18 years ago?
Yes, and the reason I know that because I analyze a lot of the WCA data, I know some basic coding, I know how to run queries, and I can see the retention rate has improved over the years. It means people are coming back to competitions. They're not just stopping after one anymore, and that's improved for everyone.
Okay. Well, that's great to know. Yeah, I saw there's a lot of stats in your presentation, which is very impressive. It was very interesting to me and signified the depth to which you're looking at it when you were looking at what you've just said, the retention rate, because that's a big one. Hey, like, is it more like, because I mean, I've got anecdotal evidence from the Cube Club that I run, right? Like, I've seen some quite accomplished female cubers come and then get to a certain stage and then just be like, nah, I'm out of here. And I've always wondered, like, God dang, like, why does that happen? And I'm curious to know from your research, like, why do you think that happens? Is there a one answer, or I imagine there's not just one answer, but what are some of the reasons you think that might happen?
There are a lot of people who are really motivated by getting fast times. And once they reach that wall, there's less motivation to keep coming competitions, to keep practicing. And I think that doesn't vary by gender. It's just once you reach your goal and you feel there's nothing else to do from there, there isn't really much pushing you forward. So for me, I was like competitive for around 4 or 5 years when I first started cubing. And once I hit that wall, I found other ways. I started organizing competitions. I started running cube clubs. I started doing other things, and that's what kept me going. And I no longer really care about my times anymore. My profile times haven't changed in the last 10 years. But I still enjoy competing because of other aspects. I'm a delegate, and that's something I really enjoy doing. I also like organizing competitions. I still collect a lot of puzzles. I do other things other than get fast at cubing. And so if your only goal is to keep getting faster and faster, you don't have any plans for what do you do once you reach that goal. There isn't much keeping you in the community unless you find other ways to keep that passion.
Yeah, okay, I see. I see what you're saying there. I was having here's a bit of a wild card. I was having some sort of shower thoughts the other day. It's where most of my thinking happens, right? I was standing there just thinking about content and conversations. He's in chat right now. Conversations I've had with Projta and some other people about like the different sort of types of, this is specifically about YouTube, like the different kinds of content on YouTube, right? A lot of it is obviously people who are good at cubing, and majority of those are male, and majority of the content they're making is like their fastest solves, right? It's about them being like, look how fast I am, which is fine. This is no shade on this type of content, but what I'm thinking is like, it's a kind of, it's a just based on what you've said there's like there's a representation issue there, because the majority of the content is boys going fast. And if you're a female competitor, you're exactly what you've said there. You're just not seeing yourself represented in that. And you're also seeing a very specific type of goal chasing. And you're being told why you should be cubing. In a sense, does that make you see what I mean? Like, you're being told this is the point of what you're doing. You got to go fast, got to go faster, faster, faster. And there's not much outside of that, you know. And there's some fan created content like what I'm doing. There's some like shop created content, which is like your unboxings and your tech stuff and all that thing. And I just wanted to kind of put that to you and just like see if you have you got thoughts on, are there thoughts on that? It's kind of backing up or running alongside what you're saying about there's more to it than just rinsing and going faster, you know?
Definitely interesting watching really fast videos, especially if you can keep up with some of it and just like mesmerized by some of the things they do, like the little tricks they do that you wouldn't have seen before, or just like the execution speed. It's definitely really interesting to watch. But honestly, the videos I enjoy most about cubing are things that go beyond that. So I enjoy watching like FMC videos, for example, when they talk about techniques and things. Just any sort of commentary that is just beyond just watching someone go fast. Anything that goes beyond just look at how fast I can move my fingers.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's an interesting conversation that happens whenever I've posted in the past about anything to do with female representation in speedcubing. An interesting thing happens. It pulls out, it sort of brings to the surface a lot of pseudoscientists, right? The comments kind of fill up with generally younger men, or old boys, if you will, you know, generally younger men talking about the differences between physiology between men and women. Now, you have actually done some research in this area, right? And there are, there are physiological differences between men and women, but there's also psychological differences. And in your research and in your presentation, you talk a lot about, I think it's how male and female brains learn in different ways and the different things that they're attracted to in terms of learning and advancement. Do you want to talk to that a bit? Excuse me.
Yeah, just to clarify, I haven't conducted research. I've only just like read other people's research, which some people just like just refer to as like research as well. But I basically read sources. I haven't conducted anything, but I figured just make that
That's a good clarification.
So it's definitely a field that has a lot of gaps in research. There's one particular author that I cite a lot. His name is Richard Sachs, and some of his work is disputed. It's kind of hard to find this type of research, and I was very careful to only quote his summaries of experiments rather than his own input into things, because that's where things get a bit questionable. But he does suggest that there are some differences in terms of how we perceive success and different types of learning. So, for example, the desire to understand things at a deeper level is a more feminine thing. It's a more feminine thing. So for cubing, if a tutorial, for example, just shows you here are the steps to solve it, someone might look at that and think, okay, but I want to know why this works, and that could be a hindrance. So just little things like that, and just using the idea of what are ways we can design tutorials and make cubing accessible to anyone with any sort of difference beyond like what is typically expected of someone.
Okay. Yeah. So that was fascinating to me when I came across that in your videos, because the idea of learning the how and learning the why to things seems to be like quite a recognized difference.
Yeah, so something I didn't say that I probably should say is that the reason for this is likely environmental, not it's not because of biology, it's because of gender norms and just the way you change throughout your life based on the different environment you're in. So it's perceived to be in terms of people's identity rather than their biology.
Okay. Sorry, can you expand on that a little bit, or dumb it down for us?
Yeah, so for example, the desire to want to learn things at a deeper level instead of just rote memorizing and accepting something the way it is and just not really going deeper into understanding how the cube works. That's based on environmental factors.
Okay.
It's the way you grew up. It's nurture instead of nature.
Okay. All right. I think I'm with you. I think I follow. I've just kind of just reflecting on the things that I've ever got into. Like in my life, I've been sort of if I think about it now, and I've never really thought about it, but like every sort of thing I've been into has been male dominated. Maybe I'm just having one of those dumb reflections I have sometimes as a man, just being like, oh wait, is everything male dominated? I guess potentially, but like skateboarding, I was really into Warhammer, like things like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, things that are really quite like rules dense and quite like just like grind dense, if that makes sense. It's just about grinding and is that typical in your experience of like, generally speaking, is that more typical of a male brain to be in one of those things where you're just like learn the thing more? Like you mentioned, I love the term using, you talked about it in your talk, using the primitive part of the brain, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right, actually. Just like banging something with a hammer over and over again. Those are the hobbies I've always been drawn to, you know?
Yeah, what you said just made perfect sense. That aligns with what I've read as well.
Okay. Do you want to, can you expand on that a little bit? Or have I already said it?
Yeah, so let's see. I can definitely expand on that. So the primitive parts of the brain are the most interior parts, and they are the parts that evolution has not touched in tens of thousands of years. The newer parts of the brain that are more on the outside are the ones that really evolve over time. So we're talking about things that are primitive. It's things that are like instinct based, things that you just kind of react to quickly. Cubing is like that sometimes because you just see a case and you react to it. You don't really think about, oh, this is the case where you do this. You just kind of see it and do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's very instinct based, and that's using parts of your brain that are that just haven't changed in thousands of years. That's the more primitive parts.
That's fascinating. I've never really considered that, but it's a reactive, isn't it? You put yourself almost like you're just sort of chucking yourself into a fight or flight situation where you've got to just react to what you see. How fascinating. I'd never really thought of it like that. Interesting. Okay. So I want to talk that I've already bogged myself down in specifics. But I wanted to talk in general terms. When you made your first presentation, was it the first time that this conversation had been had seriously in the WCA, in the delegate space, and how was it received by the people you were talking to?
I think it's definitely the largest conversation. There's definitely been little chats here and there about how do we make cubing more appealing to girls and how can we improve representation. But I think I definitely expedited that process a little bit by having this talk.
Yeah.
The thing about seminars is that people just tend to watch the live stream afterwards because at the very end of the day when everyone is very tired and just kind of wants to go back to their hotel or wants to go out for food. So the audience there are people who really want to be there. And everyone else who is like, oh, it's interesting, I guess I'll check it out later. They're not going to be the ones who are watching it live. And because it was only accessible to people who were there because the audio quality was atrocious.
Oh, yeah.
It was well received because the people who watched it are the ones who were interested in it. So I think that's not a very good way of measuring
it. Was a biased sample.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So then, I suppose following on from that, like internally at the WCA, how have you, I don't know in terms of process, who do you take your recommendations to? Like, what's the process internally, and have you had much resistance internally to the things that you've been suggesting?
It's definitely hard to make change from a top-down organization. It's mostly just changes on a local level. So just talking to different communities around the world instead of talking from the top of the WCA, which is the board. Just making little changes here and there, talking to a lot of delegates, talking to a lot of organizers about how they do things. That's how change is more likely to happen.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. Yeah, because what you're attempting to do is almost like one of the hardest things to do in any organization, which is to change culture. And culture in any big organization is it's pushing a rock uphill. It's really gnarly. It's really hard. Yeah, it's a tough job. So something that's come up in the past has been it's something that we've talked about on my show and in my videos. So I just got to do a quick ban. Hold on. Yeah, you can go. See you, Brutal Slam Horror. Peace. So something I wanted to ask about was achievements, recognizing achievements for female speedcubers, because old mate Monkey Brain over here, quite often it's just we'll simplify it to being oh, we should just make more noise about female world records, and we should make more noise at competitions about the fastest female competitor, and we should have a different ranking system, and we should have XYZ, and I'm just stamping around, making all these assumptions based on what I reckon. And you had some really interesting points around celebrating real achievements for female competitors. So I would love to hear you talk a little bit more about that, because, and this will bring us into the World Championships, which just happened. How do we celebrate female achievement in speedcubing without being patronizing or inauthentic? There's a word. What's the word? Without virtue signaling. How do we do that?
You get insight from females.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is you make sure that the way you perceive things makes sense to females. But yeah, the main thing regarding female awards is you don't want to overdo them because you don't want them to become a participation award. You want them to have value.
Yeah.
Because female world records are really good achievements. That's usually a pretty high rank in the world. And even female NRs, depending on which country you're in, is a really fast achievement. It's something that you must have had a lot of practice and a lot of training to get that fast. And it really only makes sense to have fastest female when there's competition for it. If you do it every single time, there's like three girls. It's just who is the fastest of the three, and sometimes it's the same one every time. Then it just kind of gets tiring and not really meaning anything. So you want awards that are meaningful and achievements that people had to train hard for to achieve. So you mentioned World Championship. So we did have, so we called it the Women's Championships. The reason I prefer the word female just because it doesn't get based on age, because some of the winners of the Women's World Championship title or Women's World Champion titles were like young girls, including like the 3x3 winner. So
Xizhan, yeah.
I'm indifferent to the term, just ensuring that it's identity based. That's the main thing I care about.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a big success because every single one of them got a really fast time. Like it was something they were proud of, and it might not be a PR for them, but it's something that they had to work really hard to achieve. So it was really just accomplishing or celebrating really big accomplishments.
I mean, at the World Championships, it's a fairly easy one to think, yeah, well, this makes sense because the best female cubers in the world are there. So at a smaller level, at a 100-person comp, what's your kind of? I'm painfully aware that I'm leaning on you and I'm going, what do I do? Which is like not super chill because it's like, well, you know, a lot of learning and research needs to be done by us as males in the space as well. But I hope you'll forgive me for like just mining you for ideas and information while you're here. But
no worries.
Like, at a smaller competition, what would is there there might not be a one size fits all. Quite often in New Zealand competitions down south, down in the South Island, you may have one female competitor, you know, like what do we do? What might we do in those circumstances? We don't have any female delegates here in New Zealand either, that's culturally a problem too. We now have a board in charge of our regional organization, which does have a female member. Awesome. Love that. We do have very accomplished female speedcubers in New Zealand as well. Most of them on my team, I'm happy to say. But like, yeah, what do we do at the locals when there's like a female competitor, say, which happens a lot?
Definitely go case by case. You can always just ask them. But it's okay if you don't have them. It's okay if you don't have female-based awards at all and it doesn't make sense. It's sometimes better to not do something than to do it badly. So it's really just case by case. And if you want insight, just ask the people who are affected by it. So ask the female competitors what they think, whether it's a good idea or not. Just make sure you include them in the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's that's great insight, to be honest. It's just like, it's better to do something. It's better to not do something than to make a terrible job of it. And
sometimes, yeah.
I think okay. Yeah. Sometimes. There's nuance in everything. I remember you saying, talk in your talk about, in your presentation about Pride Month competitions and being like, well, here's an idea. You should have someone who is obviously and outwardly part of the LGBTQI plus community who is organizing it. There's a good start. So I think that's like advice that you can sort of, you can take and apply across the board and things like that as well. So yeah, you I wanted to share just a little bit of my experience about Worlds 25, where I was immediately like, oh dang, we're making an effort is being made here. I can see what's happening. I can see change happening. This is awesome, because I turned it on the first day. And it was a few hours in because time zones. I turned it on the first day, and the first thing I saw was Kevin Hayes and Alyssa. Oh shoot, I've forgotten her last name.
Esperaz.
Esperaz, yeah, Esperaz. They were commentating, and I was like, well, hot dang, there we go. Look at that. Female representation on the commentary straight off the bat. They also made a great duo as commentators, actually. And Alyssa MC'd a lot as well, which was cool.
Yes, she did.
It also just so happened that it was Pyraminx and Fiona Bowers there thrashing solves, you know? So I was like, well, this is great. What an incredible start to what we're seeing. And I think, oh gosh, I'm splitting myself into two questions here, but I saw that representation, which was great. And then as I was watching the the thing develop over time, I saw Alyssa's continued involvement, and I also just saw female competitors doing really well. I don't know if you know, because you love a stat, how many, whether there were more female competitors this year than in previous, but like, you know, what do you? There's a multitude of questions. The representation on stream, and the representation of the competitors. Where are we? How are you feeling as I've appointed you ambassador for female cubing right now?
It has increased. Yeah, so I did check, and the percentage of speedcubers globally has reached, or the percentage of female cubers globally has reached over 10%. It was just under 10 for a couple of years, and it just shot up. So it has been increasing steadily, not by a lot, but by a noticeable amount.
Okay, well that's great. Why? Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's happened?
I think local delegates are just more conscious of making things welcoming and just making sure that everyone feels like they belong at competitions, and that helps everyone's retention, and that helps everyone want to tell their friends to start cubing and to bring their siblings along to compete and just grow in the community.
Okay, yeah, love to see that. I'm gonna talk about your specifics at the welcome desk, in just a second as well. But do you know Alyssa?
Yeah, she's a friend of mine. We go to pretty much every competition together.
Great, amazing. So, does she have does she have? I suppose she has fundamental skin in the game because she is a female competitor, right? But did she? I don't know how much you know, but how was she? Did she put herself forward to be part of the broadcast team? Was she asked to be,
Yes.
or?
She signed up for it last year at North American Championship, and then she was accepted again for Worlds this time. And she has a background in communications. She's currently earning a master's in communication.
Yeah.
So it's very much her thing, interviewing people. That's really where her forte is, and that's why she was chosen for that team, and she did a phenomenal job at it.
I thought she did really well. I thought it was
Yes.
great. It was so good. The broadcast, generally speaking, was really, really good from Worlds. I don't know how much you've seen of it because you were there, hey?
Well, I've seen it. I've seen a good chunk of it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was
cool.
interviewed on live stream a bit as well. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see you on there. Like
That's
I said,
okay.
I couldn't see every minute of it, but I watched as many as I could. It was good fun. So yeah, right. I wanted to let's get into some specifics, right? I want to talk about, you know, your thoughts around the welcoming desk, which you've kind of alluded to there. We make a lot of assumptions, and again, I've only ever been to competitions in New Zealand where there's only ever been male delegates and mostly male organizers. We do have some female competitors who have been involved in organizing. I think I would have to get a citation on that, but mostly it's male competitors who are running it. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen, and this is not just about female competitors. This is about the whole gender spectrum at check-in. Hey, like, there's some advice that you've brought forward, and some ideas for the check-in desk because you've seen some problems there, right?
Yeah. So part of the WCA regulations is that there's a suggestion that ID should be checked at every new competitor's first competition. And it's not a requirement, it's a recommendation. It says it should be checked as instead of it must be checked. And so I look very carefully at the wording of regulations to make sure I'm not breaking anything as a delegate, but because it's not required, but you also want to have some integrity in people's personal data. My middle ground approach is to just have them check and just go with their word. We still want to make sure that they don't typo their name, their birth date, and that their country is their citizenship, not just their nationality, heritage, or where they live. So just ensuring that they are aware. This is the data you submitted. Your country has to be one you have citizenship for. Just please check to make sure it's correct. I much prefer that over checking their official documentation, which is what the recommendation for the WCA is. And there are a couple of reasons. One reason is that I feel like it's really just not my place as just a regular citizen to be looking at government issued IDs.
It's
right?
very weird.
It feels very intrusive to me. And
Massively.
we all have really bad passport pictures, right? But imagine how much worse it is for someone who is trans who took their picture before transition, right? Like it's embarrassing enough for most people, but just showing an ID that's not really who you are in the moment and has outdated information and showing that to a stranger and that being your first experience at a competition,
Yeah.
that doesn't sit well with me. And the thing is,
No,
I've
same.
I've run Tekken for a long time. I used to check IDs because it said you should, and I thought, yeah, okay, sure, I'll do that. And it wasn't until I encountered these situations that I realized, oh, this is a terrible idea. I really shouldn't be doing this. This is not good at all.
Name another activity that kids take part in where you ask for their passport. If I took my kids to a dance comp or I took them to a rugby training or anything like that, and they were just like, all right, sweet, I need to see your passport, I'd be like, what? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You think I carry that around? Like, what are you talking about? I couldn't believe it. I've done registration desk once, and I didn't check the rules as well as you did because I'm not a delegate. But I was just like, I'm not asking anyone for their passport because we have every country has a refugee population, right? And these are people who are carrying with them a lot of trauma around nationality and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, I only asked. It was just like, all right, sweet. Which country are you representing? You know what I mean? Like something like that. I can't remember if those were the exact words, but I was just like, if it was a new person, I'm just double checking, like, sweet. So which country are you representing? Because I'm not going to make an assumption based on someone's appearance or skin color about what country they're representing. Like, what an awful position to be putting volunteers into.
So there is a very important reason. It's because the WCA is a global organization, and data protection and data accuracy is very important towards the database, just towards integrity in general.
Yeah.
And so I understand why they have that measure in place. And there are places around the world where it is standard practice to be carrying ID. In Europe, it's very common. A lot of European delegates I've talked to have no problems checking IDs because it's something you typically see outside of cubing anyway. It's really only bizarre when it's put in place in a place where it's just not a normal thing to see every day. Like, for example, here where I live, like I can do a lot of things without showing ID. For example, like if I go to pick up food or something, they just ask for your first name and they just take your word for it. If I'm picking up medicine, I just give my date of birth and name and they give it to me. They don't actually check my ID or anything. So just for a kids event, mostly because cubing is mostly for kids, although every age can compete, it's just the population is largely like age 14 and under, just saying, hey, you have to have some sort of ID to prove your citizenship to compete. That's very bizarre to me. And it's not a very good first impression, I find.
It's standoffish and it's aggressive and it's just janky and weird and like it just makes me feel super uncomfortable. So and there's double issues there because you've got, like I said, the people who are they could be stateless, they could be coming from somewhere where they don't want to think about anymore. On a very low level, I'm kind of like that as well because like I represent New Zealand. Thank you. Sorry, I was just having a coffee delivered. Thank you, love you. Like I've moved halfway around the world and I'm representing New Zealand now. I'm like, I don't want to be, even though I technically should be, because I have a UK passport. I haven't got my New Zealand passport yet. Don't tell the WCA. But it doesn't matter. Like, it's literally...
I kind of have to now.
It's literally... But then, okay,
oh, man.
But then... Okay, and you know what? I encourage you to, because later this year I'll get my New Zealand passport and they'll just have to double work. They'll just have to make me UK and then make me New Zealand again.
Yeah, but...
And I'm insignificant. So here's my question to you. What is
You should tell your local delegate that.
What they all...
Because they will actually, like, change it and then change it back.
What is the actual, tangible problem with me? And I'm slow as. I am no threat to anyone. I'm nothing. What is the actual, tangible damage being done in that situation?
Because there's a committee responsible for accuracy, and people intentionally being inaccurate makes their job harder. I'm not saying that that's a good reason. I'm saying that is the reason that the WCA will give you.
I understand the reason that they will give me, but that's my pushback. It's just like, okay, cool. Let's waste a ton of resources then switching me to the UK and then later this year switching me back. That to me is just like, it doesn't, I would understand for a top competitor, 100%. And it's happened with top competitors. And it's like, it just seems so silly. But anyway, sorry, we're getting off track. As well as refugees, stateless, people who have changed nationality and all this kind of stuff. people who have changed trans people, dead naming. There's a big issue there, and it's so much bigger. And this is my point again. It's like, what is more important? Is it protecting the database, or protecting the feelings and rights of our competitors? That's kind of the point I was alluding to with that one.
So the good news is the way WCA handles name changes and gender changes is that it doesn't have a public record of what it was before. So when you change your name, you have the choice of whether it just gets overwritten or whether it shows your old name underneath. And some people choose to show it underneath if they change their last name for getting married, for example. If they want to show their maiden name, that's a good option. But for someone erasing their dead name, it's also a good option to just not have that extra information and just overwrite their name as if that's what it was since they started competing. Same thing for gender changes. It never shows. You can't look up someone's old data or their old gender data in the database. It just gets overwritten.
Okay. But I guess the problem is it's specifically about the check-in desk. There's people are uncomfortable sometimes because, changing a passport's a hard job. Changing your ID is a hard job. Changing your name legally is a hard job. But you're you're just, it just seems like such overkill. Like, I understand the risk is that I could have said, I'm from X country that's just joined the WCA, right? And then I can get easy NRs. Like, that would be the sort of shenanigans play that you could do. And I do get that. But it's just, I feel like the passport is such a high form of ID. There has to be, at risk of sounding like a shopping channel, like that, there has to be a better way of establishing that. Because my argument's been like, I'm a New Zealand resident, like I own property here, I vote here, I work here, I pay taxes here. I don't have this final piece of paper, which changes nothing, literally nothing about how I operate in the country. Sorry. There is a dog situation, an active dog situation in Sarah's house at the moment as well. Stand by, everyone.
This guy is causing all the noise. Apollo, welcome to the live stream.
Hey, doggo.
There we go. This is Apollo.
Hello, Apollo. Can I see his passport?
I left it in my car, sorry. All right, Apollo, stop making noise. There you go. If I lift him up, he stops barking.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, we couldn't hear him for the record, but no, we appreciate it. Where were we? Passports. Oh yeah, it's just like, it's such a brutal high form of ID, and I get that it's a regulation. No, recommendation, not a regulation.
It's a recommendation in the regulations.
Recommendation in the regulations.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for various different reasons, I suppose. You've got a recommendation though, which
yes, the recommendation is to print a sheet of paper for each newcomer that just shows a copy of what they submitted and have them check it and say, is this information correct? And also clarify that the country has to be something you hold citizenship in. Because what often happens is people just pick the country they live in or a country they have deep connections to after moving. And according to the regulations, unless you have citizenship, you can't actually represent that country. Just being clear that's the rule. Is this information currently correct? Yes or no? And if it's not correct, we can change it.
I should check the senior rankings in the UK then. Maybe I will switch. Because Tingman's in the seniors now in Australasia. I don't need that. I do not need that.
It's 40 plus, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think
I'll be there in 7 years.
I think, yeah. Yeah, I've, dang. Oh, well, wait, 7 years. No, we will cross over. I don't need that. I don't need that either. Well, that's the world ones though. That's fine. But yeah, no, I've checked and yeah, Felix won't be in until I'm in the over 50s. So I'm good. I'm clear. You know what?
I love how serious you are of this. Like, unofficial awards, some of us take so seriously. And like, female awards are the same. Like, they're unofficial. but they're deeply important to a lot of people. Like people are really invested in the senior rankings, even though it's just a random website separate from WCA, right? Like it's still meaningful to find ways that keep you motivated and just ways that you have fun with people.
It totally is. It totally is. I only really discovered the senior rankings like in the last couple of years because I've really never been that obviously I'm not competitive on it in any way, shape, or form. But then all of a sudden, some of the other older dad cubers here in New Zealand started telling me about the senior rankings, and they were just like, "Whoa, you nearly got OCR for clock," and I was like, I beg your pardon." I beg your pardon. And yeah, that turns out that there was just like no competition in Australasia for clock. So immediately my ears pricked up and I went, oh, okay, this changes the game. I can compete without all these little brats getting their 2-second salts and everything. I don't have to go up against Lockie Gibson. Interesting. So yeah, what was I going to say about that? So that, yeah, there are other ways. This goes back to your first point, I think. There are other ways of keeping interest up and keeping people like interested and giving them something to go for. Because before that, I was just like competing against my own results, you know. So is that analogous? Is that the right word? Is that comparable with female rankings? Do you think is that an argument for or against female rankings, or is it the same, or is it different, or is there anything there?
It's just another way that just adds enjoyment to competing. Because even though at competitions you have rankings at like the place you're in, a lot of people don't really care too much about how they place, just whether they got times they're happy with. And another way of having fun is to have like competition with people who are not the competition. So rankings, for example, like trying to beat your friend in another country, for example. So I think they are comparable.
Okay. I'm just getting news in the chat now that there are no gender categories in the senior ranking. Okay. We'll have to do that manually, Nick. We'll have to check those and see what's
It's all
going on.
self-identified anyway, because I think I checked out the website and you just say your birthday and they just take your word for it. So it's the same idea as gender. Just take your word for it.
Yeah, yeah. So they're not sortable. They're not organizable. What's the word? They're not you can't filter by gender on the senior rankings, I think is what
Got it.
that's what Chang and Curious Nick are telling me. Yeah, there's no filter. You can do it manually, yes you can, of course, and Aaron, yes you can, but that sounds like a lot of work and I don't want to do work, all right? I want to have a click down filter for it. I wanted to touch on very, very briefly dirty old speed stacks. Old speed stacks. How
Boy.
How are they going?
To be honest, I haven't read much about it in a couple years, and I did hear the information secondhand from a friend of mine who's a cuber, who is also someone who was affected by the change. She quit speed stacking after this. I had the same information as you do from the SpeedStacks website. That's the only the only source I have is just what's on the SpeedStacks website.
So the background to this is WCA changed the gendered stuff in their regulations because it was always about he starts the solve and then he stops the solve and then he writes the thing. They changed that to they them to make it just like gender neutral. Very nice. We love that. You can compete whatever your gender is. Speed stacks though, it's just I don't know if the rules are gendered, but not a super chill place for trans competitors.
Not at all. No.
And why is that? Explain what's the situation there.
Because they changed the rules around 2 years ago that you had to compete in the division based on your biological gender, based on the gender you were assigned at birth. And that wasn't the rule before. It became a concern to some people when there are some trans folks who were highly ranked in the female rankings, and they just kind of gave in to the pushback. And they said all kinds of reasons like, oh, it's about fairness. but really, who is it fair to?
Yeah.
Right? It really shows your priorities.
Yeah.
So they say it's about competitive fairness and things like that, but if you read into it, really they just gave into the pressure and didn't want to fight for the right thing. They just wanted to make it simple for them.
Yeah, and in doing so, it does feel like a choice, doesn't it? It does feel it's hard to see it as anything else but them making a choice, I think. But that's not super chill. So we're not huge fans of that. Come along, Speed Stacks. Let's just see if we can improve on that. Sukant in the chat has just brought up a completely valid question that I have not asked you about, and it just says, "Ask Sarah about Scube." So we should do that. Give us the for anyone who doesn't know, tell us how important you are to Scube in terms of solving.
Sure. All right. So in 2012, there were some rumors of Scube becoming an official event just because it was a simple, cheap, accessible puzzle that had decent hardware. Like compared to today, it's terrible. But the idea is that there are rumors around that it could become official. And I caught wind of that and looked into how to solve the Scube. And I found there weren't many methods. And I didn't actually like the beginner's methods that they showed. And I kind of just made my own. And I got pretty fast. I had UWR average of 12 at a couple points, just 6 seconds, nothing major, but because it wasn't really a popular event, like it was pretty easy to get fast times when a lot of people weren't really trying to get fast at it, and when it wasn't very accessible to learn because of the minimal number of tutorials that were out there and not a lot of guidance on how to get faster at it, just a lot of just self-learning and figuring things out for your own. And the head of the regulations committee approached me and asked if I wanted to join the committee to help make Scube official. And I said, absolutely. So in 2014, Scube became official. January 1st was the first day that you could hold Scube as an event in a competition. It was a random Wednesday, and boy, there were a lot of competitions that day, just holding Scube to pump out those WRs.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so that was fun. There's controversy around like, are you really going to give world records to people who got like 10 seconds just because it was the first opportunity? So there are a lot of interesting conversations that came from that. I actually competed in the first week as well, and I totally bombed. I got NR single, which wasn't hard because there were 4 Canadians competing on that day, so I just had to beat those 4 people. And the person who got NR average is someone that I taught during the car ride to the competition.
I love that though. See, that's fantastic, and that's like, it's such an interesting juxtaposition, isn't it, between like the integrity of the, you know, we have to maintain the integrity of the database, and then going, oh no, what if somebody gets a WR today because it's the first time of it happening? It's just like, well, that's the database. You've made it the single source of truth, so this is an inevitability.
Yeah.
My opinion anyway. So
my method, so I published it in 2013 on my website. It is apparently my most viewed web page on my site, my Scube method page. It's just a web doc. I also turned it into a video. I got a lot of comments about my color scheme because I was too impatient to just order a new Scube. I wanted to use the one I already had. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I compete with exclusively irregular color schemes.
Okay.
I don't have a single regular color scheme cube that I compete with. This is my regular color scheme. Okay, so I have white on this side.
Whoa. What have you
I
got
have
opposite?
yellow next to white, which trips people out. Look at that beauty.
Yeah, that's
white and yellow next to each other.
There's a lot of
the best
triggering.
Part.
So purple is your yellow. Whoa.
Purple is my top color because I only do white cross.
Yeah.
So I get the best color for OLL. I get the prettiest OLL.
Oh, okay, that's cute. I need to learn. I should learn to solve a green on top because that's my favorite. So
I mentioned that like, to keep cubing, you really want to find ways to keep it fun and enjoyable. I love doing silly pranks, like competing with my Pyraminx here.
Oh my gosh.
All the colors you're not supposed to have on a Pyraminx on one Pyraminx.
That's cool. I like that. I actually really like the old Fusion big cubes that had the pink. Was it just pink side instead of red or something? I can't remember, but they had a pink side and they were cool looking things. I kind of miss stickers, hey.
Yeah, so the tricky thing about finding white plastic puzzles that you really can't. In fact, the only puzzle that I compete with that is stickerless is my Mega Mix because I just changed the colors around. I got all the warm colors around white and all the cold colors around gray. So I recolor everything, and that just keeps things fun for me. I get a lot of comments from subscribers saying, "How do you compete with this thing?"
That's
And
gonna.
the answer is I just do. This is what I'm used to. It's not what you're used to.
No, I've got such a rusting, like, old tank of a brain. I'm just like, any change to this and I'm cooked. I've got to have white on the bottom. I've got to have blue in front of me, and it's got to be solved like that. If I don't have red on, like if when I try and solve just yellow cross, I'm just like, there's like, my nose will start bleeding. I'll start shaking. It's too much. I can't take it. My brain's not made for that. But that's very
One of the
impressive.
downsides of learning to cube a long time ago is that I have a lot of old habits. For example, I am very accustomed to my color scheme, and I can't even do purple cross because I have to use white cross. Otherwise, everything looks backwards to me. And my PLO recognition, I'm going to get it mixed up with the mirror of the case because I'm used to what the adjacent colors are. So I'm not even dual color neutral. I'm very stuck in one way.
Yeah.
And I'm also very stuck with old finger tricks. Like I still wrist my D moves, which looks ancient, but I can't unlearn that because I'm just so used to it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing an A perm, I'll do this and then I'll do this.
Whoa, triggered.
I know because that's just how I learned it.
Yeah.
I can do some tricks, but the wristing the D moves, that makes people say, "Whoa, why did you do that? Just do this." And I'm like, I can't unlearn the wristing. I just gotta do that.
Yeah. Now I think that's an interesting that's an interesting thing that I've observed with female cubers as well in the Cube Club, and it actually happens to me as well when some excited little Timmy, he's 12 or something like that, he's got a sick new alg and he's seen you solve and he's gone, "Yo, you should do this instead," and he goes "Brrr," and I just immediately go like white noise happens in my head and I'm just like, all right, cool. I didn't hear any of that, but thank you so much. And I feel like I've seen that happen to female cubers as well. It's like they don't go as far as eye roll, but they're like, I can see them actively trying not to eye roll because they're just like, I'm fine, actually. I know my alg, I've got it. And that's kind of what you're saying there. And I think that's coming back to that sort of differences in how we learn and how we sort of hunt down knowledge and things like that. Someone was demanding, hold on a minute. Max Murphy is demanding
Hi Max,
when are
Canadian.
Oh, okay, cool. Shout out. Hey there, buddy. Hey Guy. Sarah, when are you going to come back and take Scube NR?
Oh man, you really want me to learn Scube again? How am I gonna do that?
You've got to come up with a new method.
I gotta go back to my old website and relearn everything.
Yeah.
I was very passionate when I was fast at Scube. And I had a lot of fun creating my method because I think there's some parts that are very clever to it and I really enjoy that type of deep thinking. But in terms of getting fast now, it's all about learning a lot of algs and reacting fast to them. And those are parts of cubing that I don't find a lot of passion in. So I don't think I'll ever get fast at Scube, but I might practice it again to improve my times a bit. I'm not gonna try to actively get really fast times in Scube because it's not something I'm really super into.
What was your I'm just looking up your numbers now. What was your top result in Scube? Here we go.
I have a 5 or 6 single.
5 single with an 8 average.
And I have an 8 average. Like, no, it's not fast, right? But I also got that in 2014, so
Not by today's standards. So did you just
not by today's standards.
You scubed when it was introduced and then just went, peace, I'm out. I've done what I needed to do.
Yes. That's exactly it.
Did the passion for Scube change when it became an official event? Or is it just a coincidence?
I just feel like I had nothing else to contribute to Scube.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, you are unusual, I suppose, in so much as you literally brought a method, and the people who invent methods are not necessarily the people who get the fastest at those methods. People will stand on those methods and grind them out and become the speedy ones. What is the NR in Canada? How do I even find that now? Results, right?
I'm not the right person to ask. I used to be very on top of learning records and things.
I can't.
I was for the first 5 or 6 years of cubing. Now it's just like, I don't even know what the world record is, to be honest. Wait, no. Yes, I do. 3.13. But anyway, I think I know it's under pi because I was really happy when it was under 3.14. but I'm not the right person to ask what is the NR or what is the WR.
Yeah, fair.
It changes too often, and it's not the part of cubing that I really enjoy the most.
No, same. I just don't
I'm
have that.
fascinated by fast times, but I'm not on top of it anymore.
I don't have a
I don't
memory
know
for
what
it.
fast times
I'm
are.
famously bad whenever I've been at nationals. I'm just like every round. I'm just like, right, what's NR again? What are we doing? What's happening here? What's good?
Yeah.
I forget. I've immediately.
I usually know who has NR, but not what the time is.
Okay, pop quiz. Canadian NR single holder
For what event?
for Scube. Who is it?
Wow, you really fact checked me in real time, didn't you?
It's been held since 2019. It's a 0.97, and it's
single.
that is Leo Min Bedford.
Leo Min Bedford. Okay.
Average 2.3.
Yeah, he's fast at Pura and Scube, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, okay. So he's now second with the average 2.41. Who's got the 2.34 from World's Warm-Up Hillsborough 2025? So this is a fresh one.
If it's fresh, I'm not going to know.
It is Kevin Lee. Who's that? I don't know.
Kevin Lee. He's from Vancouver, yeah.
Okay. So we are aware. Look at that average. 2.34. Hot dang. What's world record now? Hold on a minute. Sorry, I've got distracted. I'm on a side quest here. What's the world? Where's world? Here we go. All regions. Average is 137 from Ignacy Samselski in Poland. Okay, and a 0.75 Carter Kukala, the goat, of course. 0.75 is the single. Wild. Anyway, that was fun. Cool. Sarah, thank you so much. We've been yapping for ages. I really appreciate your time and your insight, and I love your those videos of your presentation. It's in 2 parts, everyone. So if you've got brain rot, you can break it down into 2 manageable chunks and watch that. The channel's linked in the description. I'll let you go just now, Sarah. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to plug or anyone you need to shout out before you go?
No, thanks for having me. I also appreciate that you actually watched the video in full. I wasn't sure how many people would just like start it and tune out because it was 30 minutes, and it's actually in 2 chunks because the YouTube limit is 15 minutes per video.
Oh, you need
not
to get
because I wanted to make it more manageable.
You got to get your verification.
But I'm really glad that you enjoyed it, and thanks for having me. This was fun.
No, not at all. Thank you so much. Yeah. So here's what's gonna happen now is basically I'm gonna switch to a different screen, and then I'm gonna hang up on you, and it'll feel quite abrupt, but just so you know, it's all happening in the background. Anyway, Sarah, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sarah Strong, everyone. Show some love in the chat for Sarah. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you again, Sarah. Bye. There we are. Sarah Strong, man. Thanks so much. That was fun. Hey, did we learn something today, everyone? Did we learn something? That's what we're trying to do here, isn't it? We should probably do some ads, hey? That's what we should do. How are we, everyone? How are we? I like doing these chats first. It's quite good. Anyway, ads. Shut up, everyone. Shut up. I'm doing ads. The show today, of course, brought to you by Speedcube Shop. Use code Cubecast to save 5%. Same at Cubing Life Academy. Oh, my camera angles. Cubing Life Academy. Use code Cubecast. Save 5% on any of their outstanding courses. You can also buy my stuff from speedcube.co.nz. That's my website. It's pretty cool, hey? Pretty cool. You can buy Cube Sauce there. You can also buy Cube Sauce at speedcubing.org in the UK. You can buy it at Crafty Cube in Australia. You can also use code Mike32314 at gfuel.com. Save yourself 20%. How much? How much? 20% at gfuel.com. Using my codes at any of those sites really, really helps me out. It helps us support the channel. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you. I really appreciate you, everyone.
Say the line, Bart!
Use code Cubecast.
Yeah!
Also code Mike32314 if you're at the place I said. gfuel.com. Dave Neville, you do the chats, but then you don't do MSL. No, we're really far behind on MSL. We're really far behind on MSL. We'll maybe catch up. Maybe one day. I want to finish it. I do want to finish it. We'll finish it before the end of the year, okay? It was gonna finish by the end of the year if I'd been on track. So I need to catch up. I've got so many matches. What's even the next match? Let's find out, shall we, everyone? Let's do a little look around here. I think it's in my starred documents, isn't it? John's version of me 1 versus me 2. Here we go. We might get a match in today, but I don't know. I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it. The next match in the winners bracket is... Oh, we're back in round 3 of the winners bracket. So it's... Oh my god, it's this one! Okay, I do need to sort of prepare myself mentally for this one. Timmy me versus Gen Alpha me. Then it's Pro Cuber me versus Even More Scottish me. Then American Mike versus Stoic Mike. See, these are all big characters that, if I'm honest, I regret making because they require some prep. All right, I need to just thrash these out though, don't I? I think I'm gonna have to do an extra stream and just thrash these out. The thing is, nobody really wants to watch. There's like Jonathan. Was it Jonathan? Who was it? Or was it Dave? It was Dave. Dave, I know you're a huge fan of MSL. I don't know if anyone else cares. Except you and me, maybe. And John, who made the spreadsheets for us. And we've still got some losers matches to fix as well. Oh, no. These losers matches will populate once we finish round 3 of the winners bracket. Oh, look, we'll get there, all right? And Aaron, the mics are absolutely furious at the delay. There's mutiny behind the scenes. It's actually because... I don't know. I was going to try and say something funny, but I couldn't think of anything. So, yeah, Timmy me versus Gen Alpha me is going to be absolute chaos and carnage. Pro Cuber me, I like. Even More Scottish me, I've forgotten what he did. American Mike, he might come back and be a different... will he still be redneck, or will he be a new, exciting kind of American? I don't know. Could be Florida Man Mike. I don't know. Anyway, that was fun, wasn't it, everyone? What else are we looking at today? Oh, let's talk about... All right, you know what? First of all, everyone. First of all, I want to have a word with you, all right? I want to have a word with you, chat. There was this was a post on r/cubers. Yo, what's your favorite YouTuber? And I was like, easy dub. Easy W. Surely... this will be brigaded with Cubecast fans. But no, it's just coping. It's just coping about J-Perm. Poor J-Perm. Let the man play Mario Kart. Can we leave him alone? And people still just working out that J-Perm and Shortcat are the same person. J-Perm, Cuba Rhythms. Does Cuba Rhythms still do anything? You know what? There was a serious point to this, actually, which was like... I think... like, majority... of posts in here were just people going on about people who don't, upload anymore. Crazy Bad Cuber, J-Perm, StuCube obviously getting a lot of mentions. We love StuCube. More J-Perms. Not a single Speedcube NZ. I'm washed, everyone. I'm officially washed. Lego Boy Z3. That's a throwback. Obviously, Z3's still posting, but yeah, Lego Boy is the name is a throwback. Crazy Bad Cuber was really good. What was that German one that I saw? I need to find this guy. Fresh Cuber. Fiznik Cuber. Can we find these people? Fresh Cuber. Hold on a minute. Your channel. No, that's not really what I wanted. I didn't really want my channel. I just wanted YouTube. Fresh Cuber. Who's that? Is this him? This looks like a German chap. Der Rohfrisch heißt eigentlich Roland Frisch und wenn was über Zauberwürfel postet, ist der Freshcuber. Die Videos hier sind größtenteils beiwirksam and the rest. I'm sorry. That was fun though. Subscribe to Freshcuber. Who was the other one? Who that was mentioned? Fiznik? Who that? Fiznik Cuber? I like finding new channels that I don't ordinarily know about, especially non-English speaking ones, because sometimes that's the ones where the scoops come from, like quite often it's been foreign language ones. Fiznik? No, this isn't him. I don't know. I can't see. I can't see it. But anyway, suffice to say, I'm absolutely just disappointed in you all. Nope. No mentions to Speedcube NZ. Absolutely appalling. Cubecast. See, if there were some good drama channels in cubing, there'd be a video right now being made called Cubecast calls out his community. Raging narcissist. Speedcube NZ. But yeah, lots of love for all the big goats in there. I'm only fooling. You know I am. Just thought it'd be funny. And I was trying to find, like, yeah, cubers that I hadn't heard of, but seems like our man there, whose name I've already forgotten. What was his name? The German guy? Fresh Cuber. Fresh Cuber we found. Fresh Cuber located and identified. Chang, now we need a German mic. Did you enjoy my German there, everyone? It was pretty good. And Aaron, the true cubing podcast is the Cubecast podcast with Andrew Kang and Tom Barlow. True. Okay. Let's... Oh, do you want a hot off the press PSL update, everyone? Would that be fun? Because I've got one for you. There is an update from PSL. Let me see if I can throw this up on... Oh, do I really want to put my Discord on the screen? I'm not sure if I do. Let me just see if I can copy this and paste it out here. Hold on, everyone. Shut up. Oh no, I don't have to do that. There's a little button, isn't there? Nope. Sorry, fat hands. More copy text. I'll put that into a new document here. Okay, here we go. This is a post in the RCubers. No, what? This is a post in the PSL Discord, okay? And there's some information in it about PSL. So, hi, everyone. Hi, Michael Chai, poster of this said post. We haven't formally announced it on social media yet, but we are introducing a few alternations, okay? Alterations to PSL Vegas. This might be an exclusive. But it's in a public Discord, so, you know. 1. Divisions. We are implementing beginners, intermediate, and pro divisions starting at Vegas September 1st. Okay. This is because we want to create an environment of higher and personalized participation at PSL that is able to draw from a head-to-head format. Okay. Interesting. So there's going to be different divisions starting September the 1st. And that leads into number 2. We are opening free competing to everyone. It is now free to compete in the PSL, which is a change because it was previously you had to pay. With this division implementation, we decided to open up free competing registration to everyone. If you are interested in competing at the PSL, but were previously intimidated by the skill cap, check it out. We want everyone to have fun. Is this the WCA-ification of the PSL? Is it? Or is this to do with the venue change? This is not... it should be noted that these are not changes at a top level to the PSL. These are changes to Vegas. Just the Vegas event. PSL has the ability of not being linked to the WCA that it can really mix things up. And Chai talked about this when I had him on stream ages ago about how different event organizers could have some autonomy in how they created their individual events. So I think this is what we're seeing here probably. So venue change. This is a big one for Vegas. We are moving the event to Downtown Container Park, an outdoor festival shipping mall. A venue with plenty of food, entertainment, and amenities. So this is going to be a buzz, actually. This is going to be cool. An outdoor event. This is a lot of risk, which I'm kind of about. Like, that's kind of exciting. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be spectator friendly. It's going to be open to the public. So we're going to have kind of, what was that? Was it All Stars, the one that was in the Mall of America, which did great things for cubing generally. It got a lot of beginners interested and sold a ton of cubes that day. Hot dang. So it's an outdoor festival shopping mall venue with plenty of food, entertainment, and amenities. We've got Mango in the chat. Mango, are you part of the organizing committee for this one? If you want to jump on and chat about it, let me know. Okay, so an indoor. We are moving the event to downtown Container Park, an outdoor festival shopping mall with venue with plenty of food, entertainment, and amenities. Check them out on Instagram if you want an idea of what it looks like. Actually, I do. Should we do that? Let's do that now. Downtown Container Park. Town Container Park Instagram. Downtown Container Park. Downtown Container Park is a unique open-air shopping, dining, and entertainment center with something for everyone. I guess this is it. I guess this is it, everyone. Hey, it looks kind of cool. Is this the right one, Mango? It seems very Labubu heavy. Sure, what the hell is that? And where can I get one? A vanilla waffle stacked high with mint chopped chip? Okay, all right, I'm in. I'm in. You had me at... yeah, you had me at the image. I didn't even need to know anything about it. I was just like, I want that. I want that. Sorry, McDonald. Labubu. 24 karat gold. Labubu. Interesting. This looks like a vibe. Ooh. Is this it? Where are the containers? Your new favorite way to explore downtown. Is this the one? Is this the one? Mango saying, look at it on Google Maps, hey? Let's have a look. Not sure if it's the right place, but if you look on Google Maps, it'd be near the Fremont Experience. Let's have a look at the website. Chang is recommending the mochi-filled egg waffles with sesame ice cream. All right. This looks like the place. Downtown Container Park. Yeah, okay, so we were on the right Instagram. Visit us. A location. That it? Near the El Cortez Hotel and Casino? Fremont Street. What did Mango say? Near the Fremont Experience. Okay, we're on Fremont Street. Yeah, we have the right place. This is the right place. Wonderful entertainment. Dang, this looks like a cool mall. Oh, it's got a big mantis in it. That'll be why it's called the Mantis, everyone. Fun. Look at this big unit. Hello, mate. Shoots fire. Okay. Can I just say, I love how... What is happening? What is happening to cubing? We've got the PSL happening at an outdoor shopping mall with a fire-breathing giant freaking mantis. I love this new arc. I love this new speedcubing arc that we're in now. It's head-to-head in categories. It's at a giant mall with a fire-breathing freaking mantis. This is great. This is great. I love this. Anyway, what were we doing? We were looking at the announcement. Let's go back. Where were we? Oh, no, I didn't want... I was looking... I did notes. There we are. Venue shame. Okay, down to... Oh, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Check them out on Instagram if you want an idea of what it looks like. I did, thank you. We don't think you'll be disappointed. I wasn't. Did I mention the Mantis? This venue will be open to all spectators since there will be plenty of non-cubers hovering around the space. Therefore, anyone who has purchased a spectator ticket will be refunded and offered a competition spot instead. Well, hot dang. Chang, only in Vegas. I was just thinking that. Yeah, that's the most Vegas thing I've ever seen. Is there a way I can bet on the Mantis? Or can I bet on the competition? Then we're in Vegas. I was thinking about shipping containers. I thought it was a container park. Maybe there are. Well, I guess there's containers here. These are containers here. There are containers involved, all right? Relax. In 20 years, we have PSL and NFL stadiums. Yeah. We are looking to improve the symbiotic. I'll tell you what, though, a bit more pyrotechnics would be good. Imagine, like, I don't know if any of you go to American football or rugby or any big team sports like that, you know, when there's a goal or a try or a touchdown or whatever, and then there's the flame shooters. I want flame shooters for threes. Michael Chai, are you listening, Michael? Mr. Chai, I want pyrotechnics, all right? I want when Dylan Miller lands another three, or Matty or Timon, when another three happens, there should be immediate flames. Massive flames and pyrotechnics for threes. Thank you very much. You can you can have that one. All right, you'll see that we are still looking to improve the symbiotic experience of a league, and one thing we specifically looking at is the relationship between divisions. You'll see that the winner of the intermediate division will be able to go on stream against the pros. If anyone has ideas similar to that to provide as rewards to intermediate or beginner divisions, let us know via the proper feedback channels. Very good, very good. Very good. We love that. There is a registration link. Let's see if there's anything interesting there. Oh, speedcubing T in the chat. I want fog TV in the chat. I want fog machines for walkouts. Hell yeah! The more pyro, the better. I want like boxing style walkouts. I want fog machines. I want big old tunes. I want a massive aisle to like think WWE, or like if any of you watched Tyson versus Jake Paul, I want cars coming down the entrance aisle. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Right. Oh, this is just buying your things. This is just buying your stuff. Competitor pass free. Subtotal free. Total free. All purchases are final and non-refundable. I can't have my free ticket refunded? Come on now. Well, there we are. That's exciting. September the 1st, 2025. PSL Las Vegas. Speedcubing TV, I assume it's still being streamed even though it's outdoor, right? Mango saying I can probably hop on for a bit. Yeah, if you want to jump on, Mango, I'd be keen as. Because my understanding is you're one of the organizers. Right. Let's do it. Let's get Mango on here, everyone. Let's get Jaden. We haven't spoke to Jaden in a while. We're not doing a week in Cubings anymore. So I haven't spoken to old mate Jaden in a while. Let me see. Speedcubing TV saying should be. I'm in streamer mode, so I'm gonna have to pick the right picture. That's Michael. There he is. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start calling. And we'll see how we go. Fun. We love a guest appearance. Someone, I don't understand, Anarin, what you're saying. I should have promotion regulation. I'm not sure what you mean, sir. Jaden, hold on. We can't hear you yet or see you. Jaden's here, everyone. Hello. How are you?
I am good. How are you? It's been a while.
It has been a minute. Hey, so are you part of the crew that's putting PSL Vegas on?
Kind of. I'm like, it's specifically for Vegas. I don't know if I'd really have any say with like any of the other PSL events, but Michael Chai came over to the shop a few weeks back and we discussed like formatting and stuff, who we're inviting, and a lot of stuff that kind of led to the ultimate decision of making it free for people to attend. So I wouldn't say necessarily an organizer, but definitely kind of in the midst of helping things move along. Okay, cool. So an organizer, but not an organizer.
An unofficial organizer. You're like an advisor. That's the best. That's the best place to be, because you're just like, well, maybe you should do this. Yeah. Maybe you should do that. While ultimately taking no responsibility. Wonderful. What a place to be. Right. Who are the speedsters that we're going to have for this one? Do you know anything about that?
I do know a couple names. Now, I remember we were talking about Jeremy Bollenbot from Arizona,
he's been announced.
About Shiloh yeah, I know that one was just announced. I'm pretty sure Dylan will be there, most likely.
Nice.
We talked about, I believe, Varun, who was at I think both of the PSLs. I don't think Timon would be at this one, but I know there's a couple of people from, I believe, Berkeley that are supposed to be coming.
Oh, okay, cool. We've got on their Instagram, we've got Caleb Chen. We've got
that's one of them.
Micah Yo. Varun is in here as well. Mohanraj. And Jeremy Boulambo. Yeah, very cool. Okay.
Now that I think, since it's free, I think a few more people will probably be there, because originally we had made it was invite only, and so we were deciding who are the 8 people that we're going to be bringing. But there were some people that didn't quite make the list because we went off of average times, but now I think they'll probably be there, being that the event is free and we're kind of opening it up to everyone.
Yeah, okay. I like this idea of divisions. That is actually, I don't know if you heard when Sarah was on earlier on, we were talking about the seniors and the plus 40s, the plus 50s, the plus 60s. Right. You can you can feel like you're being competitive while not being at the very, very top, which I think is a really good thing.
Right. Yeah, it gives more people, I think, just the experience of, if they want that kind of feeling of being, I guess, quote unquote, at the top of their division. So I think it adds a competitive aspect in a way, but also kind of takes away some of the stress, because it's like, oh, I'm competing. You can be like, okay, I'm competing in this division. I'm at the top of that. There's kind of stress for that, but also at the same time, it's like, I'm not at the best. I'm not competing against, Dylan Miller. I'm not, going to be going up against someone who is way, way surpassed me.
Yeah.
So there's less stress in that sense. But you also get the feeling of being, I guess, at the top.
Yes, of course. I've just found the full list of attendees here. So we've got Dylan, Micah Yo, Kyle Santucci is going to be there in the pro division. So these are all these are all the pro division guys. Lucas K.
I think Lucas Kuchai. Yeah, he's on there. Yeah.
Kuchai, was it?
Yeah, Kuchai. It's a Polish last name, I believe.
Okay. Cubing Fedora, that's got to be what's his chops?
That's
Jeremy Varun, Sebastian Stone's there again.
Yep.
Blaziken, 1 2 3 2 1. They're in the
don't know who that is.
They're in the pro division anyway. Then we've got in the qualifiers we've got Jizki, we've got Christino 4, we've got Jaden from Speedcube Shop, never heard of him. We've got Emil.
Oh, that would be me.
Emil Lazarev.
Know the list for all of that was public. I remember submitting the form to do it, but I didn't know that was already made public. I remember talking about just I guess the pros.
Yeah.
So.
It's in the registration link under attendees. It's all there. So
okay.
Okay. So tell me about this mall and this big freaking fire breathing mantis. That's pretty cool.
Container Park it's a pretty cool place. When I first moved out to Vegas, that was one of the first places my mom had flown out to visit, and we were doing DMV stuff, getting the car registered, and we were looking for places to go and look around. And most of Vegas, a lot of people see it as it's gambling, it's drinking, it's all the kind of more not kid-oriented stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
We found Container Park, and that was kind of like a breath of fresh air. We went to this place and we got to see a bit more out of the ordinary stuff without having to deal with the drinking, gambling, and all that stuff. They've got some food places there. There's a tattoo shop. There's a nice open space in the middle where we're going to be hosting the event. Everything is made out of shipping containers, which is really cool. So it's a kind of neat spot that I think is a little bit more appealing to younger cubers and their parents. So
yeah, that's cool. That's
should
smart.
Encourage more people to come out. I know that's kind of one of the downsides to being in Vegas when we hold our Speedcube Shop competitions is it's in Hotel Casino, and that is a bit of a turnoff for some people. But now with Container Park, I think this is going to appeal to a much larger audience, along with it being free.
There's gotta be a certain audience though when you do have something in a casino where you're just like, hey, leave your kid here and go and do Vegas stuff. I'd be like,
Yeah, there's
interesting.
I definitely think there's a few parents that kind of like drop them off and they're like, yeah, there's a whole another floor of a bunch of other stuff to do. We'll leave them here for a few hours and we'll go do that.
That's
I know there's some parents like that, but I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But
no.
It's another thing to do.
If it encourage
cubing is not everyone's cup of tea.
Nah, if it encourages people to drive their kids to the competition, then that's got to be a good thing,
Right. Yeah.
So okay, cool. So quite a big turnaround for PSL then, given that it's free entry for competitors, free entry for spectators. But then I suppose in this venue, it kind of had to be because there's going to be people walking past.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. But also at the same time, like we were even thinking about when we had the original venue at Speedcube Shop, it was still going to be free there. But
oh, right. So this is a venue change.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the decision to make it free was more of a like, let's try this thing out, and can we make up this, the lack of ticket sales by selling something else, whether that's cubes or merch or something else, and to see like if we can make this free, and we can make up the cost with everything else, that's a win. That's a big win. Chances are probably not, just because it takes so much money to put this kind of thing on. So there probably will be a balance in like ticket sales. I'm guessing we'll probably be able to get it down to like $10, depending on how well sales go for like, merch and stuff. But also I think, with more people being able to just like walk up and see what's happening and be a part of it in a sense without having to pay anything, I think it's also going to be great, because then it's like, even if that person doesn't buy something, they're going to be like, hey, I saw this Rubik's Cube thing that was really cool, and it was, you just walked in, it was free, and the word of mouth travels, and then it becomes a bigger thing, and that eventually turns itself into sales for other items.
I think if I was Cam, I'd probably have like 500 RS3M 2020s on board to just like be like, here you go, start here, there you go.
Yeah.
Take that, see you later.
One of the big problems, like I was at the first two PSLs and I was vending stuff, and one of the issues with that was that, it's not easy to ship a bunch of cubes, so I had a very limited stock with me. And when people came up, they would be like, oh, what do you have? And I had to be like, well, we only have these few things. And, some of it was novelty, some of it was actual speed cubes. But, with it being so close to the shop now, it's like, we can bring a lot more stuff. And if we run out of something, the shop is only 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
So, if it's a cubing family, they could either drive and go to the shop, or we could go back to the shop and just bring more stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and you can just load up a van and have a huge stall as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really convenient for us. And I think it's going to provide a better experience for the competitor as well. Because, when you go to a competition with someone vending, that's a big part of it. Everyone lines up at the table. They see what's new, what's something they don't have, what's a better cube. So similar concept with PSL, so they're going to want cubes. They want to buy something, maybe compete with it. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. Chang's asking in the chat, like, how does PSL make money with this event? I mean, the truth is it probably best case scenario would be a break even with sponsorships.
I imagine we'll probably lose money on this, but it's not going to be like we're losing so much money to where it's like, obviously going to shut down the PSL. But I mean, an event like this being young, it's, it hasn't quite figured out the right, format for everything. We're still figuring things out. I think you're probably going to lose money on some of these events, and, some of them you might earn some. But until we kind of figure out what makes this work the best, we're probably not going to be turning out a massive profit. But I think that's fine for now, because it's young and we're still trying to figure out what works best. And I think we're willing to take that kind of hit. And also, I've seen in the chat too, selling ad spaces. I mean, that's something we're looking into. I know Chai did something with G Fuel, something similar to what you're doing. So, we're kind of working on that as well. And once we have, a bigger and better proof of concept, I'm sure we can take this to other, people who are willing to buy, ad spaces and be like, hey, here's this thing. We've proven that it works. This is exciting. We even did this event for free, and I think that's going to bring a lot of people on board that are outside of the cubing space that can actually bring money into it.
Yeah, totally. You have to prove performance first. And like people do forget that like
Right.
very seldom do businesses make money in their first year. Like it's almost impossible.
It's very difficult.
You're supposed to lose money. Almost like it's expected that you're going to lose money in the first year.
I mean, luckily for us, there's already a very well-established cubing community that is, fairly interested in that.
Yeah.
So we have that working with us. But it's still a very difficult thing to make money on any new project, new business, pretty much anything that's new and you're trying to sell it. It's very hard to make money on it, at least right away.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I do appreciate PSL just trying things out. Hey, I like Chai's kind of like, well, let's FAFO, let's see what happens. Let's give this a go, see what happens. Let's get some actual data rather than just thinking about it.
I think this was something that, the cubing community needed. I think it was kind of stagnating a little bit before we had like all stars and stuff, and like head to heads became more popular. But I feel like the WCA was kind of stagnating a bit, and interest wasn't necessarily growing that much. And now this kind of gives it a bit more of a fresh take on it, and it's something a little bit more engaging and exciting. And I mean, if you watch the live streams for the last two PSLs, especially those final head to head matches, like those are very entertaining,
bro.
Very
Cinema. I mean, the most exciting part of it's such good content. It's such a good basis. Have you got 10 minutes to hang around to like talk about a couple more things off the docket?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's just on the subject of cubing events that are not WCA. I've got some breaking news. I don't know if I'm interested to know if you've heard this yet. Let me just bear with me. I got to keep my source. It's a reliable source. I'll tell you that much, but I can't reveal the source on here. But GAN SSL season 5 will not be live streamed.
Really?
No live stream.
Wow, I mean, did you have to pay for the live stream last time, or was it free?
No, it was free, and there was also a secondary English language live stream by
that's right,
Speedcubing TV.
Manu, right?
Manu was commentating. Yeah, it was Speedcube TV was the channel, I think. But
yeah, okay.
First impressions, like, because I literally found this out about an hour before the show started, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
It's crazy because last year it seemed like such a big thing, because everyone was talking about it, everyone was watching the live stream, people were excited for it. I mean, I was watching it, I was excited to see what was happening, but to see that it's like not being live streamed seems like a bad decision.
What a massive missed opportunity.
The only reason I could think they're doing that would be for some reason, like I know the way it's like presented feels almost like a game show you would watch. So I'm sure there's probably a lot of money that goes into it and a lot of production. The only reason I could think they wouldn't stream it is because for some reason they just can't figure out the logistics for it. Maybe it's a bigger, better new thing and they just kind of put streaming to the side and it just kind of fell behind. But I think that's a terrible decision. I love watching the SSL. That was great.
It was incredible, and they did such smart things with it last year. Because remember, from having Chris on Cubecast afterwards, they had them in the GAN factory. They had them all the gurus like testing the GAN 15, if you can remember back then.
Right.
They really, really maximized it. They did so well. I was so impressed with it. I was like, yo, let's go. Look at these people just putting on this huge production and just like, and just really, really killing it. Like there were some technical issues. Curious Nick is reminding me in the chat. That was with the GAN UI system, wasn't it? I think the stream itself from memory worked relatively well. But there were some issues with GAN UI and the connectivity and all that kind of stuff, eh?
I mean, I still, even with that, I just can't believe that they just wouldn't stream it.
It seems like such a...
I could imagine them putting it behind a paywall of some sort, but just to not do it at all, it seems crazy.
Well, my source, who, like I said, I'm not going to reveal because they've asked not to be revealed, but like I trust them,
Right?
And they've sent me screenshots of messages, but they've asked me not to show them, and that's fair. There's a language, there's a language barrier, so it is possible that the person at GAN. Hold on. We have no plans for live broadcasts this year. So in writing from GAN, however, we have no plans for live broadcasts this year. So whether there's a piece missing there that is, we'll pay-per-view it, or they're planning to release a bunch of videos after the fact. They may have an alternate broadcast strategy. Yeah, I'm still
I don't know.
coping.
I mean, the way, we do PSL, the way we watch a lot of other YouTube videos is, there's the live stream. You watch it live, you get excited, and then you watch the highlights on YouTube in the following weeks and months. You want to see the recaps without having to go all the way through the live stream. So it just, I can't wrap my head around a good reason why they wouldn't stream this event.
Maybe it's, no, because Felix, when he was on, I'm pretty sure he told me he was going to China for SSL.
I think so.
I'm just wondering, is it possible it's not going to be an event? Because what's led me here, right? I'm just like, they put all this money into production last year. Like, the stage was incredible. The venue was awesome.
Right.
And the live stream was good. They probably almost certainly lost money. They almost certainly lost money, and lots of it, because they flew everyone out there.
Right.
They hired the venue. They didn't sell many tickets. There wasn't a huge crowd there IRL. So maybe they've just gone, that was fun. We can't do it again though.
Right.
And maybe they're doing it online.
Like, even if they wanted to do it like a smaller scale where the production budget wasn't as high, I still can't imagine you wouldn't live stream it. Like, I mean, Monkey League does, people at home, and it's, I think I don't know if they've done it live. I've seen, the recaps, but if they've done it live, I mean, it can't be that hard to kind of do it. I mean, their scale is much smaller than GAN's would be, but, GAN with the budget they have, the, amount of people they could hire to do it, I can't imagine it would be too hard to decrease the, like the stage budget and whatnot and just stream it still.
Curious Nick's just said something interesting. Maybe that's why they invited content creators. Are there more content creation based competitors this year? It's really hard to search for because there's an SSL, which is like a skateboarding league.
Yeah.
Which is tough. And I can't, if anyone can find a link for me and hit me on Discord with it to like any kind of information about it.
I mean, but even still, right? Like, you would still want to take the opportunity to get people on a stream and watching it, right? Like, even with content creators there, like, I mean, think Worlds, think Nationals, think, any streamed competition. Yeah, there's still content creators there, but they're still streaming it.
Yeah.
People like to see things happen live and in person when, if Yihang or Zhuan Yi was on a stream and they broke, some sort of record or got an insanely good time, it's fun seeing that almost in real time and not, weeks later when there's finally a video for it.
It seems like such a wild decision. I'm like, more and more I think about it, I'm like, maybe this is a mistake in translation here. Maybe there's something going on here that we're not understanding, that to give them the benefit of the doubt, but to not live stream it is such a strange
It seems
decision.
like a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, a huge miss. Curious Nick, I know of one content creator they invited, and I guess there will be others. I think Cubehead has Cubehead mentioned it? I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, you'd want, the big creators out there, I'm sure, the ones that are,
Rice,
got the most subscribers.
Yeah, Rice to me,
stuff,
Tingman.
So.
I am just looking on the GAN YouTube page now, and I'm
sure they're gonna have people that are big on like Bilibili too out there as well.
True.
That probably we don't know.
True.
Or maybe what if they're streaming just on Bilibili and not?
Oh,
YouTube?
true. True. Someone did say in the chat maybe it's a Chinese government thing, which is gloriously vague but also gloriously valid. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be some kind of. Oh.
Yeah. Who knows what Gan is thinking?
Chang's clarifying here. I'm not sure if Chang's from China. I'm not sure. Again, I think it might be they didn't get Chinese government permission to stream internationally. Maybe that is something you need permission for in China. I don't know. Is that worth a Google? Hold on a minute.
Maybe.
Do you need permission to live stream from China? Let's find out. What is Google it? Oh, yes. Generally, if you are in mainland China, you need permission to live stream, especially for commercial purposes.
Okay.
China's live streaming industry is heavily regulated with guidelines and restrictions aimed at preventing illegal activities, misinformation, lol, China, I see you, and spread of inappropriate content. Okay, that's a good theory, Chang. Chang is from Taiwan. Okay, yeah, cool. So we get fun bias opinions. Yeah, okay. That's a very good point. Potentially super valid. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
so it could just be that they just didn't get the permission and they're just doing what they can.
Maybe. That sounds like it could be a valid reason. Okay, well, very interesting.
That would be a good reason to bring content creators too. If you can't stream it, bring the people who are going to make videos on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Chang, misinformation in quotation marks. Hey, while I've got you here, I will let you go. I've completely hijacked you for the podcast.
No, you're all
this
good.
is the first time we've streamed since Worlds. And I would love to hear some of your experience about how Worlds went. Because from a outside goober perspective, just me watching it from my little room here, getting up very early in the morning, putting it on my laptop and playing Fortnite on the big TV. I had a great time. What was your experience like at Worlds up in Seattle?
It was great. Because I went to NAC, North American Champs, and I was pretty underwhelmed just because, the room was essentially just, it felt like almost like a giant warehouse room with no shelving or anything. And they just put stages in there. So I wasn't expecting too much for Worlds, but then when I actually went into the convention center, it was great. The way they had everything formatted out, they had the separate rooms for the side stages and the main stages. And there was plenty of tables for people to sit at and cube, a ton of seating, and just Seattle as an area too. I love Seattle. It's literally my favorite vacation spot. So I was a little biased going there, but I mean, being able to do stuff because everything was really nearby. You had the Space Needle, Pike's Market, Seattle Underground. All these things were really close by. Transportation was nice. The public transportation was cheap and efficient. The competition itself, the only complaint I had was whenever you had someone on a microphone and you were sitting at the side stages, it was so loud.
Oh, really?
Loud enough to where you'd be like, it was loud enough to where you could be like, I need an extra. Because it was so loud. Other than that, the formatting was nice and great. I loved being there. I got to see so many people, and just the presence was great.
Curious Nick in the chat confirming that part was really bad. Getting blown out by the microphone.
Yeah. I will say there was technically another downside, which was Wi-Fi was not free, and it was not it was. I'm going to try and recall to the best of my memory what exactly it was. I believe it was. I want to say it was $80 per device per day. Minimum 2 devices, I believe. It could have been $40.
Excuse
and,
me?
2 devices makes $80, but it was crazy expensive. And since there's so many people there all using their data, data wasn't working very well. So things were lagging, and it was hard to kind of keep up with everything on your phone, see the schedule and stuff. But I mean, other than that, it was a great experience.
$80 for Wi-Fi. I would have rioted.
Yeah, minimum 2 devices too.
Minimum 2 devices.
Yeah, so you had to pay for 2.
That's wild. Honestly, the brass balls on some people. That is incredible to even just like look someone in the eye and be like, yeah, that'll be $80. Thank you. Like, what? I beg your pardon.
That must be like a convention center, like the Seattle Convention Center, like standard. But I feel like for most of their, conventions, they probably don't have, 2,000 competitors with, I believe, 6,000 or 7,000 spectators. They probably weren't expecting 10,000 people all to be in there at once needing Wi-Fi.
I guess that is quite unusual for from their perspective.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Chang now saying, yeah, someone needs to bring a Starlink dish. Can we get? I think that needs
Starlink,
to be that needs to be standard competition set up for delegates from now on. All delegates should have a Starlink dish.
Yeah.
Chuck it on the roof.
Yeah.
Welcome to America. Says
Seattle
Chang.
was great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Seattle was great. I mean, there was a lot of stuff to do there too. So you didn't have to stay at the competition the entire time. Like, I know for me, like I did 1 to 2 events a day, and the rest of the day I spent, going out and do stuff. Went to the top of the Space Needle, did the Seattle Underground tour. 4th of July, got engaged, and then
whoa! Don't smoke bomb me with that. What? Congratulations! I didn't realize.
Yeah. 4th of July, I remember I had, I think, 4 events I was supposed to do that day. It was 7 4x4, 2x2, and I think Scube or something. And I remember waking up that morning and being like so nervous. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to compete in anything. I'm just going to go try and do anything else and try, not to like focus on this thing that's coming up at the end of the day. So yeah, I remember just being so nervous. I was like, not even going to compete. I'm just going to have a normal touristy day in Seattle.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so fun. Yeah. I can understand the nerves. I've been there. It's wild, isn't it? Did you do the full traditional, like ask their parents first and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I remember I remember asking and like, cause I was still trying to figure out where exactly it was going to happen, because I was doing it on the 4th of July, and the idea was to do it like with the fireworks and stuff. And in Seattle, for some reason, they don't start fireworks until 10:15 p.m. And so originally I was like, oh, they're going to start at like 5 or 6 or whatever, and we'll find a place that's nice. And then that kind of went out the window when I found out they were super late. So it was probably like 2 weeks before going to Seattle, I had finally figured out, okay, this is the place, this is where it's happening, I've got it figured out. Now let me call her mom and be like, everything's figured out. Here are all the details. Ask for permission and stuff.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, might be one of the most American things I've ever heard as well. Just like got engaged on the 4th of July. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Can we have some American flags and bald eagles in the chat for for Jaden and his fiance there? Outstanding. Oh, I love to hear that. Great stuff. Hey, I'll let you go just now. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. Looking forward to PSL Vegas. I hope there's a live stream. I'm sure there will be. Speedcubing TV said, yeah, almost certainly. Hey, I'm gonna put some American flags in the chat. There we go. For the most American proposal I've ever heard. All right, nice one. Thank you so much, Jaden. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, right. Actually, I messaged you and Cameron on Discord. So I'm publicly nudging you now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Catch you later. All right, there we are. Jaden from Speedcube Shop, everyone. What a Chang! Isn't a wedding the opposite of freedom? Lol jokes, sir. I need to go pee. And then we're going to get back into some more. We've got some more juice today, right? There's some more juice. We're going to have a look at this, these cheating allegations from Worlds. And the, I think, probably, almost certainly unjustified flaming of young Guy Zarian, which is not giving me good feelings. I don't love it. All right, I'm going to pee. I'll be back real soon, okay? Where's the button? There it is. Back soon. Oh, give it a rest, Dave. Give it a rest, Dave, all right? Give it a rest. Keep asking. Maybe this season, David, maybe. Feel free to submit one. I tell you what, if anyone wants to submit any screens for like bathroom breaks or snack break or like technical difficulties, I would be so stoked to take viewer submissions for that. So I watch there's another video podcast I watch. I'm a huge fan of, and they have viewer submitted stuff for that. Like that would be amazing. If anyone fancies making just a still of any sort, it can be whatever. That I would be so up for including some of them. Chris Mills in the chat. Hello, Chris. How are you? I don't know if there would be a copyright issue, but you could make Giant Steps your bathroom break song. Giant Steps? I don't know that. Who's that by? That'll be some dad rock. Coming from Jaden. John Coltrane. That's not dad rock. That's kind of a deep cut. Okay. The most feared song in jazz. Why do I not know this? I'm not going to play it because I'll get immediately copyright hit. But I will check. I'll check that out after the stream. No, don't play. Don't play. Hey, relax, Coltrane. I remember hearing people talking about John Coltrane when I was in uni, about how he was just like an absolute tyrant. There was a story about, I can't remember what instrument the person played, but they were thinking about quitting the band, and John Coltrane got on the phone with them and was like, look, come on, buddy, I need you here. You're part of the band. I need you. Without this, I need you on the tour. We need you to do this. I need you to fly out. Look, come on, let's get this done. You're important. I respect you. Come on out. And the person was like, all right, sweet ass. Okay, sure. You've talked me around. He flew out, and as soon as John Coltrane saw him, he fired him and sent him home. Like a grade A diva. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I've never fact checked it, but that's the story I was told when I was in uni by one of the jazz heads. Curious Nick sounds like a lovely dude. Very talented dude, but an absolute tyrant. Jazz players can be intense. I played for a few jazz people. Intense. Okay. I want to talk about... Oh, this one's a little bit spicy, okay? I want to talk about something that happened at Worlds and some fallout that's come from Worlds and some slightly... So, let me take you back to the start, okay? I was involved in sort of watching Worlds. Obviously I was keeping a close eye on it and I was making little summary videos of it and stuff. And there was immediately, I was like, I can't remember who pinged me or where I saw it. I was pinged by someone. Someone was like, this is how I heard it straight off the bat. I heard, did you hear someone did a turn in inspection and stopped a timer early in square one and got a 2-year ban? And I was like, whoa. That's a lot. That's how it was presented to me. And I wasn't watching Square One because Square One's goofy and weird. And I don't think I was awake at the time when Square One was on. I'm only being mean to Square Oneers. But I was like, whoa, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a big event. And then there was the video came out of the event. And so we'll take a look at that. It's gonna happen right here. This is our man. His name is Guy Zarian, and he was competing in Square One. Chang, was it an intentional thing? Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it, Chang? We're gonna take a look at it. So, this is the first solve of 5. We'll just play it to begin with. That's inspection. I'm pretty sure this is his first off. So you watch it around 4-something seconds. The wrists are going to... See that timer stop there? So that's the issue in question. Is it an early timer stop? Of course it is. Absolutely yes. Of course it is. Is it intentional? Is it intentional? I think that is the question that is much harder to answer. So our man Guy celebrates there. He's like, no shot. A 4.5? He's like, what? And the judges okayed it. The judge looks slightly sus, I will say. Watch this. So that before he's hit the timer, the judge is looking at the timer. Eyes. He saw it. He was looking straight at the timer when that happened. He's going to write the time. He's thinking. He's like, interesting. What's going on there? He gives it the okay because it's not a +2, but he's looking very, very sus. He's going to write the time down and immediately call a delegate.
Knocks it down from a 4.9 single, which is 45th in the world.
So here's the solve itself.
4.58 for Guy.
What are you seeing here, Michael?
The luckness slipping the equator.
And then you'll see the judge goes and grabs a delegate.
DNF. But flipping the equator, obviously, if you do not flip the equator, that
One
is
sec.
DNF. But 4.58 is a massive chunk taken off that world record. Oh, not world record, sorry, national record for Israel.
So he's kind of whispering to him now, hey, I think you binged the timer.
Exactly 30th in the world.
That's a great single here that we're seeing.
He's finding out about it. It is very difficult to judge whether... It is difficult to judge whether it was
Looking at the ranks as well, that puts
intentional or not. Chang said he should be looking at the back of the display. Yes, but Curious Nick is saying the back of the display was covered. Curious Nick is a reliable source. She was at Worlds doing a lot of judging and volunteering. Why would they cover the back of the timer displays? Weird. Anyway, so yeah, what happens is it's immediately flagged.
He had a 4.59.
It's immediately flagged, and Guy immediately accepts it.
As well.
Now, I heard two things. I heard move in inspection. Okay, so the rest of this clip is just him talking to the delegate, and the delegate being like, here's what's happened, here's what's going to happen, and him being like, ah, shoot, okay, yeah, here we go. He didn't fight it. He didn't cause any noise or anything like that. But what I wanted to look at, no flash. And what I wanted to look at was the inspection. People are confirming it had the station number on the back instead. That seems weird. All right, sure, whatever. But let's take a look at the inspection. I have looked through this frame by frame of the of what's available. So the inspection starts here. Chris Mills, the display is sometimes incorrect, so they block it to force judges to read off the timer. Oh. Maybe we should get better timers and displays. Maybe made by someone else. Huh? Maybe we should be using a more modern system than freaking audio cables. What? Maybe there's a better way. Who knows? Oh, Jamilton, no clue how far we're into discussing this, but Guy did upload a 6.3 average 12 after the comp, and it was completely clean. Thank you, Jamilton. I appreciate that. We're not very far into this at all. We've just started talking about it, really, because I'm going to take a look at the document that someone put together. They had a big heading called evidence, and the problem with that is there's literally no evidence in that paragraph called evidence. We're going to take a look at it. So here we go. I'm going to do this frame by frame, everyone. And you're going to help me. No, I don't want mini player. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Ah! Far out. Okay, look. We're zooming in. We're doing this, everyone. We're doing it frame by frame, okay? I cannot see a turn in inspection in the film that we have available. So the back of this... No, that was a reflection. That wasn't a turn. There's no turn there, okay? I'm not seeing a turn. Nope. No turns. Hold on. No, there's no turn. It's still the same. It's never changed. Now he's rotated. Rotated and still no turn. No turn. I don't see a turn. If that is the... Now, there's a little nudge here when he puts it down, but it doesn't turn. It doesn't actually change the puzzle. I think it's just... It's gone out of alignment when he put it down, and it's just the magnets. He swipes it with the finger here. But it's not a turn. As far as I can tell. I'm not in the disciplinary committee. I'm not in anything. Oh, for goodness sake.
Record holder and naturally first seed for this.
YouTube is not equipped to deal with my fat hands. So I don't see a turn in inspection, but I 100% see 3, 4. So we 100% see that. And if I'm honest, I think he felt it. I mean, there's good contact there. Maybe he thinks he got away with it. Maybe he thinks he got away but didn't see. Maybe he thinks he scuffed the timer and it didn't stop it. But, and I mean, he's going very fast as well. So I think it would have been like a 6 or something. But the judge was straight on it. Shout out to the judge, honestly. Really good work from him. So that's the first solve. I have been through the stream to look for the 5th solve. And there's a reason why. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So, there is a document. Unfortunately, I can't really... everyone's going to know who it's by, but I won't say who it's by. There's a document. Before I switch to it, I'll just read the first chapter. Hello, my name is X. I am considered a very high-level square one solver and placed 7th at Worlds this year. Sure, love that for you. I was recently brought to the attention... It was recently brought to your attention, sir. That a finalist at Worlds may have been cheating and should have had a DNF average in round 1. Alex, Curious Nick, he's an experienced judge. I can tell. Thank you for that confirmation. Alex has a big camera in front of him. He likely knew he was on the live stream and the overhead camera. That's kind of my vibe as well. It's just like, Alex, of all the places you're going to intentionally cheat, really? At Worlds with the biggest live stream we've ever had? Are you kidding me? I don't think so. So anyway, there's a document being put together which is causing a lot of grief to be thrown Guy's way. Like, someone reached out to me to say, hey, I think you should look at this because I don't think it's very fair what's happening. So I want to look at this document because I think it's got some flaws potentially. So this is this doc. You guys want it? I'll dump it in the chat. It's publicly available, so you can have a look at it if you want. After Worlds was over, someone in the Square One server brought up something about a competitor who was caught cheating on Square One and was subsequently banned for 2 years on the spot. Yeah, that's what I heard. Direct quote. If you were at Worlds and didn't expect to be on stream, just Connor's comment here, probably didn't expect to be on stream. If you're at Worlds and you're one of the fastest competitors in the world at your event, you're not expecting to be on stream, that sounds like a skill issue. Mango seems very suspicious. To give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he was trying to see the bottom of the cube and tilted his arms too much. Potentially, I don't know enough about Squan to comment. But anyway, I wanted to go through this part of the document that says evidence, because I take issue with that. After Worlds was over, some of the Square One brought this up about someone cheating and being banned. Guy Zarian was then brought up as a suspect during round 1 of Square One on the live stream. Guy got a 4.58 single, which was then immediately DNF'd because of the stopping the timer early. Sure, that's what happened. That is literally what happened. At the time, it wasn't clear whether or not it was intentional. But watching the footage back, it almost certainly seemed that way. That is conjecture and speculation. That is not evidence. That is your opinion, sir. That is not evidence. He reacted as if he did get a 4.58 despite clearly stopping the timer, which he for sure would have felt. Again, that is conjecture and speculation. That is not evidence. And attempted to pass it off as real time. As a real time. They then go on to say, I was in this group and I asked to be on the stream when my name was called by a runner. I went out to that station and delegate was talking to him, and I believe I heard something about a timer stop and for his hands to be held higher. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. We have all this evidence on. We have all this on live stream. We don't need a anecdotal recalling of that. But I wasn't really paying attention. I was put on station 2. Whatever. Later on, via word of mouth. Again, that's not evidence. That's anecdotal. Someone said that he did it again on his last solve of round 1. And they've attached as evidence just someone saying he did the same thing on last solve of round 1, but the judge said it was fine. That is not evidence of anything, and there is no evidence of this. There was a message in a Discord. Given the fact Solve 1 was DNF'd, that is a fact, we're right so far. Solve 5 should have also been DNF'd if this was true. There is no evidence of this. There is no evidence of this being true. You're correct. If it happened again on Solve 5, it should have been DNF'd, but the judge said it was cool. Which would have given Guy a DNF average and not advanced him in round 2, allowing someone else to get in. And later on, Ivan Vanek, who would have made fun. I don't care. Like, sure, of course. But yeah, sure. This is, of course, hearsay underneath the title evidence. I'm just saying we need to be more careful with this word here, evidence. I'm not trying to flame the writer of this document necessarily, but this document has caused Guy to be like 100% flamed, okay? And I don't necessarily think that's fair. Like, we have a committee who looks at this stuff. What's it called again? It's not the disciplinary, it's the regulations committee, WRC or something, or I don't know, that's the committee. There's too many acronyms. But anyway, this is of course hearsay, but I do believe that this should be investigated further. Valid. I believe that too. We agree. Given the fact that he was told not to do this and was caught in the act, that's an allegation, and then allegedly doing so again is sufficient proof of cheating if true and would result in a ban if he isn't already. Well, he did solve 1. He was told to watch out, not do it again. And then, allegedly, WIC, thank you. Allegedly did it in Solve 5. WIC, thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it. This is then when we get into, like, true speculation. When they are saying that this is an impossible result. And they're looking into his past results and things like that, which I think, again, is just wildly speculative and dangerously speculative. And especially when you consider that the person who has made the allegations here has had a similar thing has happened on their profile. But anyway, before day 1 of Worlds had begun, I was in the lobby of my hotel warming up, blah, 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 blah. He brought it up that it took him about a year to get this fast. So after the aforementioned proof, he was brought up to Square 1 server. I just got to check his past year of competing in the event and see how believable it is. Well, let's do that as well, shall we? We can do that too. WCA Guy Zarian. Guy Zarian. And let's look at his... If I just click on here, can I get Square 1 results? Okay, here we go. So... he got the 980 average... after that round. I still landed a 5 and a 6. And Solve 5 was a 12. Solve 5 was a 12. Solve 5 of round 1 was a 12. And that's the one that is being accused of being the other sus one? That seems strange. Anyway, 9.8 average, 7.81 average, 7.48 average. The rest of this is going into, yeah. Anyway, listen. Above are his results in the beginning of 2024 to present day. From experience and seeing many other people improve over the years, this looks pretty normal up until the 6.21 NR average. This is like a Kalindu situation, right? Just like rapid improvement. So he's saying the previous records are being deliberate. Square 1 is luck-based. There's an admission here, sir, that your logic might be flawed. Square 1 is very luck-based and can give easy scrambles similar to 2x2. Getting a good single during most rounds is absolutely not unheard of, but I consider it quite normal. In the Cubix okay, never mind. In the Cubix Friends Facebook group, an image of him and his scorecard were sent for the 6.21 NR average. Below is the image. Zooming in on the scorecard, his first attempt seems to have been a 5.28 plus 2. Sure. Then a 5, then a 5. Then a 11, then a 5. Dang. Alex Kalindu was rapid to the extreme, yes. Anyway, zooming in on the scorecard, the first attempt appears to be a 5.28 plus 2, which makes the 728 in the final results. Had he not plus 2 that first attempt, he would have had a 5.54 average, which is absolutely unheard of coming from an 821 average. Sure, the person who wrote this averages something not far off and then got a 6. So just putting that out there, I'm pretty sure. I looked at the other day. I should probably... I don't... Yeah, this person did make this public, so we will just look at there. Mango, what was his PR average before the NR average? All right. Well, there's a 6.21 NR average here, but this is someone who's capable of getting... He's routinely capable of getting 5s. I don't know. I don't really want to get into the speculation either, to be honest. I want the WIC to look at it. But I just wanted to... My point in this... You guys can go and look at Guy's results and come to your own conclusions. But... having averages of 8 to 10 for a large amount of time and then immediately dropping to a potential 5.54 average, but he didn't get a 5.54 average. You know, he missed out on it. He plus 2'd out of it. Is extremely suspicious, and to my knowledge has not been done in any similar time scale, besides maybe Brendan Dunnigan's first view averages, which were already extremely fast. And he's saying he was a relatively unknown name in the Square One scene prior to World Champs 2025. Alex saying, I don't think it's that crazy. I would like to get some more speculation or some more insight from some other Square One solvers. But I do believe there's some merit to these claims, which you are making, as this is a very unheard of case. I believe there's an intent to cheat and an investigation should be done. That's your opinion. So much speculation and opinion before we get to the heading titled Personal Opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Alex. I don't think... Look at his best times in the averages between 8:21 and 6:21. Now, Jamilton, the person who wrote this, had a much slower improvement rate and was much more documented than Guy's improvement rate, as he was basically unknown until before this doc. I'm not going to comment on the person who wrote the doc. I am going to just comment on the document itself. It is a lot of speculation and hearsay presented as evidence. And as a result of that, I know that Guy is getting a lot of grief, which I don't think is very chill and very cool, everyone. So I don't know. Did he stop the timer early? Yes. That is not in question. That is not in question. Did he do it intentionally? That is in question. He would have broken his own NR. Which I think makes me lean on the side of, well, it probably wasn't intentional. Like, why would you cheat to break your own NR? You know what I mean? Does that not sound a bit goofy? I'm thinking of, like, are we all familiar with Occam's razor? Like, the simplest solution is the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. And then I think applying that to this, I think it was probably a mistake. If evidence exists of him doing it again in the 5th solve, there's a chance that would change my opinion. But given the evidence I've got in front of me, which is that one video of the first solve, I've looked at his other solves. I think he got like immediately a really bad solve after that first one. And I think he was shook. He was shook potentially because he was like, I can't believe I did that. What an idiot. I can't believe I'm starting with a DNF. Because that was his first square one solve in Worlds, remember? Curious Nick, it was silly for Kalindu to cheat. Yes, valid. He was a very silly Billy. Confirmed. A confirmed silly Billy. Personally, where I am right now, I'm too soft though. I never want to believe it's cheating. I think I said the same thing about Kalindu. I think I said the same thing back then. It was just like, no, I want to believe that he's right. I want to believe he's a good guy. But regardless, the point I'm trying to make today is Guy is getting absolutely flamed. Like, and harassed. And that's not okay. That's what I'm not happy about. Okay? If it's cheating, WIC will investigate and they will come up with a conclusion. That's fine. I don't like cheating either. But to put someone on blast like this publicly, it's just not super cool. Is my opinion. And that's, I think, pretty much that's what I wanted to say about this today. Does that make sense? I don't know. Curious Nick, there's often no logic behind cheating. Sure. Curious Nick, I don't want to believe it either, but the accidental timer stop looks a bit sus. Sure. Mango, from what we've seen, seems more likely to have made a mistake and people ran with it because it was on a live stream. Sure. I mean, everyone likes drama. You know, you can't... I mean, we all know... I mean, the person who wrote the docs made a name for themselves now, you know what I mean? I get butthurt vibes from the doc. A little bit. But I don't know. Again, this is my conjecture and my opinion, and I'm presenting it as such. I'm not presenting it as evidence. I think that was my big problem with the document when I read it under the heading evidence, and I was just like, what? Where is the evidence? What evidence? Nothing in here is evidence. That made me go, I don't like that. And then when someone reached out to me to say, yo, have you seen this? This poor guy's getting absolutely flamed. I felt bad. And I was like, I think I should probably yap on it. Anyway, that was good, wasn't it, everyone? I assume the WIC's taking a look. If anyone from the WIC is in chat, take a look at it. All right. I have no power over you. I can't make anyone take a look at anything. But I assume they are taking a look at it. Right. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the Curious Nick, I'm staying neutral on this. I'm Swiss after all. I'm spiritually Swiss in my takes on stuff like this. Now, Rubik's famously love a bit of a lawsuit. They love a lawsuit. Remember when they tried to sue the Cubicle? And other sites, I'm pretty sure. They tried to sue the Cubicle. They couldn't touch the cube manufacturers in China, so they tried to sue the Cubicle for selling the cubes made in China. That was super cool and chill, and we all had a good time when that was going on, didn't we, folks? That was fun. Well, they've been fighting with V-Cube. Who? I know. V-Cube. About some kind of copyright battle. So here we go. This is from Reuters, Brussels, July 9th. Rubik's Cube owner Spin Master Toys on Wednesday lost its battle against a Greek rival as Europe's second highest court annulled trademarks related to the shape of the famous puzzle. Invented by Hungarian professor Erno Rubik in 1974, the multicolored cube puzzle is popular among young and old with hundreds of millions sold worldwide. The brand was acquired by Canadian children's entertainment company Spin Master in 2021. Now, the previous lawsuits happened under the old owners, who I don't know who they were. I know their distributor was called Goliath Toys, which genuinely sounds like a comic book villain. Alex, I remember first hearing about that Cubicle lawsuit and thinking, why would they sue them? Phil went literally to law school. Yeah, I know, hey. Of all the people in cubing you're not going to sue, it's the one who went to law school. Rubik's are spanking a dead horse. What an image. Okay. It was acquired by Spin Master in 2021. Spin Master took its case to the Luxembourg-based Central Court after Greece's Verdes Innovations in 2013 asked the EU Trademark Office to invalidate several trademarks registered by Spin Master's predecessor between 2008 and 2012. So this is really going back. So let's just recap. So Verdes Innovations, VCube, in 2013 asked the EU Trademark Office to invalidate a couple of trademarks registered by Spin Master's predecessor, Rubik's, between 2008 and 2012. And then Spin Master took that request to invalidate trademarks to court. Do we understand so far? VCube says, hey, these trademarks are BS. Can they be invalidated? And Rubik said, what? No. What the hell? We're taking you to court for asking to have our trademarks invalidated. That's my understanding. Not a lawyer. Not a lawyer. This guy here, not a lawyer. All right? Just so we're clear. The European Union Intellectual Property Office, the EUIPO, backed Verdes, saying Rubik's Cube trademarks had been registered contrary to EU law. The Greek company makes puzzle cubes under the VCube brand. I've got a better document that's going to break this down a bit more for us, everyone. All right? So stand back and stand by. The General Court backed the EU IPO. The General Court, quote, the General Court confirms the annulment of trademarks consisting of the shape of the Rubik's Cube, as the essential characteristics of that shape are necessary to obtain a technical result. It should not have been registered as an EU trademark. So trademarks have been revoked from back in the day. Chris Mills. Mike Field has been practicing law for 72 years. That's libel or slander. I'm so not into law, I don't know which one it is. One of them you write down and one of them you say. All right? Phil's coming. Phil, as my lawyer, Phil Yu will be coming after you. You're going to get served papers, Chris. That's pretty much the end of it. Spin Master's Toy says it will continue to safeguard Rubik's Cube trademarks. Spin Master continues to hold other forms of protection for its well-known Rubik's Cube, which it remains committed to protect. The company will continue to defend distinctiveness and recognition of this iconic toy. Sure, protect your thing. I get that. But you can't copyright what you copyrighted. Chang, copyrighting a cube is stupid. It's like Apple trying to trademark their iPhone home button. That lost too. Phil is your lawyer, Chris. Well, he's going to be making bank off of both of us, isn't it? While I sue and you countersue. Okay, right. I wanted to show you. There's a great. So that's what. Are we following so far? It's quite a convoluted little story, everyone. Rubik's weren't suing VCube. VCube weren't suing Rubik's. VCube wanted a trademark annulled under EU law. Rubik's Spin Master said, nah. Come on now. We're going to take this up to the higher court, whoever that is, the IPO court. And then the IPO court said, yeah, nah, these should never have been trademarked. Take your coat and get out. Is my understanding of what happened, okay? Now, I want to look at... It's like a summary document. Here we are. This is cool. This has got pictures in it, everyone. So this is great. This is what we're after. We're after pictures, okay? So this is from the Court of Justice of the European Union. What happened to my podcast? What happened in the last 46 episodes that we've gone from me pretending to be a Gen Alpha version of myself, facing off against a brain rot version, I've forgotten what it was, Timmy version of myself, to now reading court documents from the Court of Justice of the European Union? What the hell happened? So here we go. Judgments of the General Court. Oh, blah, 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 blah. EU trademarks. The General Court confirms the annulment of trademarks consisting of the shape of the Rubik's Cube, as the essential characteristics of that shape are necessary to obtain a technical result. It should not have been registered as an EU trademark. So In 2013, VCube filed 4 applications with the European Union IPO for a declaration of invalidity of the EU trademarks by Spin Master Toys between 2008 and 2012 for 3-dimensional puzzles in respect to the following 3-dimensional signs. So what have we got here? We've got a 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, and 5x5. Rubik's trademarked them successfully, but illegitimately. So what I'm confused about is I think it's the squares or the patterns, right? That is what they managed to trademark, but they shouldn't have. EU IPO upheld the applications for a declaration of invalidity of the contested marks. Oh, footnote. It considered that the colors of the squares on each face of the cube were an essential characteristic of the trademarks and formed an integral part of their shape. This is what was found originally. It found that the combination of the 6 different colors was necessary to obtain a technical result and concluded, therefore, in essence, that those marks had been registered contrary to EU law. So, yeah, they tried to copyright, they didn't copyright the cube. My understanding, they copywrote the 3x3 grid and the colors. But that should never have been given a copyright under EU law. Here we go. Here's a bit of a breakdown here. In the first place, it holds that the 6 specific colors placed on the faces of the cube and their alleged specific arrangement do not constitute an essential characteristics of the contested mark. Those elements are of minor and secondary importance in relation to the cube shape, the grid structure, and the differentiation of the faces of the cube, which by contrast are the essential characteristics of the trademarks. Oof. If I'm a Cubecast, I barely recognize the... Yeah, it's a law show now. Hi. Welcome to Cubecast Law. I don't know. Listen, this is slightly complex, but I think we've got there. Let's read this footnote. The proceedings had for a long time been suspended pending a final decision on the application for a declaration of invalidity against the 3-dimensional EU trademark, representing in black and white a 3-dimensional puzzle known as a Rubik's Cube by the judgment of 24th of October 2019, Rubik's brand versus EU IPO. So this is important to remember as well that this, before you all go raging against Spin Master inherited this. This was registered before Spin Master came into control, all right? George Scully, if you're watching, I'm not trying to flame Spin Master, all right? Relax. George. So it was the shape of a... Oh, so here we go. Shape of a cube with surfaces having a grid structure. So there we are. That's what I'm looking for. That was the subject of the trademark, which has now been revoked, then challenged by Rubik's, and the challenge was thrown out. Do we all understand? I think I do. Thank you for coming through this again with me, everyone. Thank you so much for coming through this again with me. That was kind of interesting. What time are we at? Oh my god. It's 12:07. Was there other stuff I wanted to look at? Let me see. We spoke to Sarah. That was cool. We did the Rubik's trademark thing. We looked at our cubers where nobody shouted me out and I died. We talked about the PSL update. We talked about GAN SSL. We talked about Guy. There was a lot of GAN 16 and GAN 251 UI stuff. Oh, Dave is desperate for me to talk about Worlds 2027. Where am I going to find that? Worlds 2027. There's got to be an application document. Oh, WCA World... Here it is. Okay. Shut up, Dave. Shut up, everyone. Shut up and listen, would you? Here we are. WCA World Championship 2027 host city announcement from July 2025. Announced by Kyle Caden Hales. I think I got his name right today. On July the 7th. Dear WCA community, the WCA board, together with the major championships team, the Wubkt, is thrilled to officially announce that Uppsala, Sweden. How do you say that? Uppsala? Uppsala. How do you pronounce? How do you pronounce Uppsala? Say it.
Uppsala.
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 Okay. Swedish pronunciation. American pronunciation.
Uppsala.
Uppsala. What? Okay, sure. Uppsala. I want the Swedish pronunciation, please. Here we go. Here, hold on. This is a very famous YouTube channel.
Here. This city in Sweden is famous for its university, for its cathedral,
Yeah, sure.
and for its relationship.
How is it
with the
pronounced,
Swedish
Dr.
monarchy.
Franz?
In Swedish, this city is called Uppsala. Uppsala.
Uppsala. He sounds
Uppsala.
under the influence of something. Uppsala.
Uppsala.
So is the inflections on the ah? Uppsala. Can someone confirm Uppsala? That would be great. Now, where the heck's my thing going? Here we go. Uppsala, Sweden has been selected as the host city of the 2027 WCA World Championship. The selection of Uppsala follows this highly successful Rubik's WCA World Championship 2025 held in Seattle and marks a return to Europe for the WCA's premier event, the first time since Paris hosted in 2017. Not Uppsala, Chang. Sweden's regional organization Speedcubing, in collaboration with the WMCT, is committed to ensuring that the 2027 World Championship reflects the spirit and talent in the speedcubing community. A WCA World Championship is a global gathering that unites our community, as well as an opportunity to see the world's best speedcubers compete and crown the world champion across all 17 official WCA events. Wonderful. The board and WMCT are looking forward to working with Speedcube over the coming 24 months of intense preparation for the World Championship. So you can view the application document here. I will. Uppsala 2027. These are Swedish colors. I'm getting IKEA vibes. I love it. Gosh, this is a big document. Are we going to go through all of this? Where can I find the goods? Like, how many people? Travel, accommodation, tourism dates, venue. Should we look at venue? That might have it in there. Oh, here we go. Competitor limits and qualification. 15. Wait, hold on. Dave, am I going to see your face in the crew? Who are the crew? Victor Zank, chair of Speedcube. Daniel Wallen. Hey, I know his name, don't I? Helmer Ewert. Alex Flordel. Marie Eckloff. And then some advisors in here as well. Love that. Callum James Goodyear Jorgensen. Simone Cantarelli. Okay. Tim Reynolds. Daniel Vidal Egdal. That's a hard one. I don't know how to do the AE. Oh, is it just 2000 again? I'm a Mac boy, thank you, Alex. So that I'll Apple F that actually. Competitor limits and qualification. We plan to set a competitor limit of around 2,000 competitors. Given the high demand at the European Championship 2024 and the World Championship 2025, however, we expect actual demand to be much higher. We therefore plan to utilize qualification periods similar to the ones used by Rubik's WCA World Championship 2025. Okay, so they're looking for like a similar registration system to Worlds 2025. No, it wasn't registration. How did it work again? It was complicated and I didn't really pay attention because it didn't affect me. It was staged, right? You were allowed to register based on results in stages. 4 stages, I think there were. Or something. This will ensure that the fastest competitors are given priority during registration. Fair and equal conditions. The first period will have very strict qualification limit, planned to include approximately the top 200 competitors in the world rankings for most events. Subsequent qualification periods will have gradually more lenient qualification times. After WCAT and or WMCAT approval, we plan to utilize competitor limits per event in addition to the limit for the entire competition. In conjunction with the qualification phases, this would essentially mean that top X registered competitors get a spot in any given event. What? This would essentially mean that top X registered competitors get a spot in any given event. Okay, sure. Alex, yeah, you could register early for one event, then add in other ones later. Oh, sure. Okay. I think I understand. However, it will be first come, first serve in the phase in which the event fills up among the people within that phase. In practice, registration will look similar to that of Worlds 25. When you qualify for at least one event, you can register for the competition. In later phases, you can add events that you now qualify for as long as there are spots left. Okay, that sounds about right. What else do we want to look at in here, eh? What else do we want to look at? I want to see the venue. Host city. Blah 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 blah. Uppsala. Oh, here we are. Is this it? Venue. The venue consists of 3 main areas: a hall, BCDE hall, and the F hall. Oh, 3 main areas. The A hall. Hey, you're an A hall. How dare you? The A hall, BCDE halls, and the F hall. The A hall is the planned main competition area and will hold the competition's 2 main stages. It's normally a floorball arena. What the hell is floorball? With 1,200 square meters of open floor space in addition to the stands with capacity for over 2,250 seated spectators. So we're not going to have 6,000 spectators like we did at Worlds 25. A commentating booth and more. In addition to the stands, around 1,000 chairs will be placed on the floor facing the main competition stages. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's a big old unit. A big old unit. Image from the A hall. You're an A hall. The BCD halls are 4 separate floorball halls that can be combined into one large room with a total floor space of 4,500 meters squared. I'm getting quite tired, eh? These will act as the main hub for competitors to socialize, warm up, and hang out with lots of tables and chairs to sit down. Oh, that's interesting. A completely separate social area. Okay, sure. So there's lots and lots of space. Okay, so right, yeah. A, B, C, D, E, and then F is the big track and field space. So we can do races. That'd be cool. Lots of food options. Their canteen is prepared to serve food for hundreds of people simultaneously. All right, well, can we bump that up to thousands? Options include complimentary volunteer meals as a volunteer perk, lunches reserved in advance for competitors and guests, as well as popular daily buffet servings with high quality and often locally sourced ingredients. All right, I love that. Scattered around the arena, there are multiple cafes ready to serve drinks and snacks to attendees on the go. Complementing the food options, but inside the arena, there is the possibility to invite multiple food trucks to the plaza. Ooh, yeah, let's get some tacos happening, shall we? Taco me. Internet. Jaden, the venue has gigabit internet available. We can choose to reserve parts of this bandwidth for certain activities in order to ensure that the event will run smoothly. Well, your broadcast team's going to want that, for sure. This will ensure great conditions for streaming the competition to the internet. Alex, what? Daily buffet? Let's go. It's also possible to extend the bandwidth further for the event if we think that it's necessary to ensure stable operations. Okay, sure. Love that. Love that for us. There's the big old main hall. And there's the BCDE halls. Excuse me. Okay, I want to hear what their plans are with streaming then. Here we go. Yeah, Alex, Jaden was telling me about the $80 Wi-Fi at Worlds. I am apoplectic with rage. $80 is diabolical. Musk fan Chang in the chat. Stop trying to sell me Starlink, Chang. Jeez. I did see your comment earlier when you said you got Starlink in your Tesla before Elon went full crazy. That's nice. Okay. We believe that the ability to follow along with the competition from home is an integral part of any successful championship. I believe that too. I like these guys. We therefore aim to provide a highly professional stream utilizing the expertise of media professionals. We have had initial discussions with Happy Feet Productions. Yo! European road trip for Happy Feet, who expressed great interest in producing the live stream for this championship. We see Happy Feet Productions as the world leading production company for cubing events. Hell yeah! And collaborating with them is high on our wish list. In both their past productions and our discussions with them, we've been impressed with their passion for bringing out the stories behind cubing events and fine-tuning the viewer experience. That's great! Chang, I'll pack my Starlink dish for 2027. Appreciate it. Practically, working with Happy Feet Productions would entail using their hybrid setup, having some technical personnel on location in Uppsala, and some of their headquarters in Detroit, USA, running the production. While we are very enthusiastic about Happy Feet's vision for the streaming of this competition, their option will also be compared to our more volunteer-based approach. Well, that'll be terrible. Is my heads up. Volunteers running the stream, it will be a dog shit stream. That's my prediction. I'm putting it out there now. IFU Arena has experience with accommodating video productions and has all the necessary infrastructure, including, for instance, a dedicated commentator's booth. Ooh! We'll need to park our mate Michael Rosenkrantz in there. Give him a little camp bed and a sleeping bag. There you are. Just stay in there, sir. For the duration. As mentioned above, the bandwidth totals 1,000 megabits up and down. That's heaps of megabits. And parts of it can be dedicated. Well, that's very good. That's very nice. I love that. Love to hear that. VIP area. We recognize that top-level solvers and Mike from Cubecast and prominent cubing influencers, like Mike from Cubecast, often attract large crowds. Honestly, I can't even go outside anymore, which can pose challenges both for their personal experience and for event logistics and safety. To address this, we plan to designate a dedicated area that's not accessible to the general competitors. Thank you for thinking of me, Uppsala. This space will serve as an exclusive competitor area for individuals who require it. Our preferred choice of this area is the venue's sponsor lounge, as it appears to meet our requirements effectively to ensure fairness and maintain. I hope I hope the food's good in there. Pope Joby, I got a wave from you on Discord. No, it's because you added me as a friend, I think. Oh. Did you? No, you didn't. I've still got the ad friend on. Never mind then. I don't know. I was going through my friend requests. Chris, there were VIP rooms at Worlds 25. You know what? I saw them. Let's go on a tour, everyone. Let's go on a tour of the VIP rooms via Captain Cuber's Instagram. No, I was searching for Instagram in Instagram. Such a goober. Captain Cuber. Here we go. Here we go. Whoops. No. There we are. So here's Captain Cuber being reckless with a 14x14. And then he gets people to solve it up a bit. Now we are on Instagram here, so I cannot skip through this. Pretty cringe. They feature in Tingman's videos too. You know what? I haven't had a chance to watch Tingman's vlogs actually. He was vlogging like a madman. Vlogging like an actual madman. I did a daily vlog thing. I mentioned to Tingman, I did a daily vlog, which was exhausting. I did for a DJ competition. I did 7 days leading up to this DJ competition once, and that was honestly, mate, big work. So respect to Tingman, genuinely, for having done that. It is a not insignificant amount of work. I can't skip through a freaking video on Instagram. This guy tries to do it from the center out, which is diabolical, and then he gives up. And then Captain Cuber just finishes the center for him. And here's Ari, look. Now we're gonna wait for it, everyone. There's a point to this, because we're gonna see Ari and Soup Timmy. This looks like a VIP area to me. Chris, is this what we're talking about? Is this one of the VIP rooms? A sensual massage from Soup Timmy there for Captain Cuber. It's not untrue to say that I've got Captain Cuber hair envy. He's got such thick hair. Oh yeah, Chris Mills confirming this is one of the VIP areas. This is very beige. This is giving beige. It sounds like it's going to be the sponsor area in the place where Worlds is happening. What's the name of the place Worlds is happening? Jeez. Where did all those tabs go? Okay. Uppsala. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit more fancy in Uppsala. Which is a relief for the influencer classes. So they can have some peace from you Timmies. Leave me alone, Timmy. I'm trying to shoot my daily vlog here. Get out of here. No, I won't sign your cube. As if anyone would be that mean. I think I'm going to call it there today, everyone. That's been a day. How long have we been online? 2.5? Nearly 3. Far out. 2 hours 52. Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to call it a day. Popey Jopey Q Boss is in Uppsala, is it? Oh, okay. That is good. That'll be cool. Yeah, we got fully distracted there, didn't we? That was good. I enjoy that. I enjoy a little meander. Oh, Chris, did you ever go to the big FTO at Worlds? That was massive. Dave Neville, US Nats was also announced in my hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina. Wonderful. How nice for you. It wasn't announced in Christchurch, New Zealand. We've just had North Island Championships here in New Zealand. I don't think I can go to Nationals again this year because of dad stuff, which sucks. It's up in the north again. Is it? World Cube Association. This is very niche now, looking at the New Zealand Nationals. New Zealand Nationals. Yeah, I think it's the same weekend as my daughter's ballet performance. It's in Auckland. Auckland Netball Centre. 12th to 14th of December. So that ain't happening. Chris confirming that big FTO was big and heavy. Oh, Alex, Daniel Wallen works for Qboss, does he? Well, there's your sponsor, everyone, I would imagine. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Cool. Was he was chair of something. Where the hell did that information go? Bear with me. I'm going to look back at this. Who's Daniel Wallen? I want to Worlds. What? World 2027. Where's the announcement? Here we go. How many competitors at New Zealand Nationals? There's like a couple hundred to like 300 max. I think the biggest comp we've had in New Zealand was about 300. Chris Mills can confirm. Shit, what was I looking for? Daniel Wallen. Yeah, there he is. I did reckon. That's why I recognized him, because he's from the Qboss videos. It's him off of the Qboss video. He's on the SVCube board. He is also a world-class speedcuber. So he owns a store and is world-class. He's just like me. Big blind ERs. Okay. All right, Daniel. Cool. Love it. I'm going to go because it's late and I want to have a snack and a little break. 2. What am I going to do? I'm going to do my shipping. All right. Love your work, everyone. Thank you again to all of our sponsors. G Fuel, Speedcube Shop, Cubing Life Academy. Shout out to our Cube Sauce distributors, speedcubing.org in the UK and Crafty Cube in Australia. Love your work. It's nice to be back. I'll be back again next week. Until then, bye.